CJ just looking at it.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to a late edition of the Hard. Listen, I had some technical difficulties, okay? This is the problem with doing things live, like your favorite entertainers like us do. You know, technical difficulties here and there. You push the start of the show back because when the show eventually does go live, like right now, we want simply nothing but the best. We want nothing but the best. So with that, CJ, I know how you might answer this, but, you know, other than the technical difficulties, how we doing there, boss?
Yeah, I was good till about 8:58. You know, everything was straight, and then StreamYard. I don't know. You guys got to figure out your situation over there, guys. Great platform, but I don't know what happened today. But other than that, all is well, man. Glad to talk some football with you guys. Chop it up. A lot to talk about. We got Matt Scurry here from the MCS Real Sports Podcast. We got my man Daquan Williams here as well, covering the bets for us now for the hard count gambling betting segment for us throughout the season. So look out for that. What's going on, brothers? Yes, sir.
I'll Quando start first. How we doing? Got the Chad Johnson repping. I want to hear it.
And we doing the AFC North tonight, so I had to dig in the little drawer. I don't really go in. I pulled out the classic orange and black Chad Johnson.
That's right.
Real calm.
A little calm, Chad Johnson vibe. Okay.
A little calm. Love to see it. Your boy out here is doing good. Got the ring light rolling, and then also upgraded the computer last week. Got me a new MacBook Pro. Got a little highlight.
Look at this guy.
I was tired of the slow connection, so I'm just like, screw it. It's time to get a new one. Time to upgrade the new computer. But so far things are looking good. Definitely excited to be talking about football this year. And hey, just think about it, boys. We're about 6 weeks away from week 1. It's near, and it's closer than you think.
Got the Hall of Fame game on Thursday.
Yeah, Hall of Fame game Thursday. Even though it's the Jaguars and the Raiders. People will be looking forward to it for the first quarter.
Facts.
Yeah, I'll watch the first few snaps and then I'll realize what I'm actually doing with my life, and I'll be like,
well, and then you'll just see Aaron Judge go burr, and everything will be okay.
Exactly. Oh, look at this! I need to get in on this.
Oh, yo, Val, what's going on, bro? What's good? Yo, next week we doing AFC East, man. I'm gonna chop it up with you. Hopefully you can pull up if you got some time. Facts, bro. Hope all is well with you, brother.
We love the people. Why not? All right. Listen, let's get it started right away since, like I said, we did have a little lateness to the show. But we'll get it started. And it's actually, a little curveball I threw at CJ before the show started. And we'll start with this, and then we'll go into all of our NFL news and things like that. But a little fun first. And something that I think there is only one correct answer to this. And I saw it on TikTok. And then it went into my group chat. We got into a little argument. Boys, I pose this question to you. If Mahomes retired today, right now, is he in the Hall of Fame? And I think, by the way, it's a very simple answer of no. Not even close. No. Absolutely, he's not a Hall of Famer. The guy on the TikTok and some other people, of course he's a Hall of Famer. Technically he's got more Pro Bowls than Matt Stafford already. Has a Super Bowl MVP. Matt Stafford doesn't this now. Bro, Patrick Mahomes is a fantastic player. Probably going to be in the Hall of Fame. If he'll probably only have to do this another 2 or 3 years. Then I would agree with you, honestly. I'm not even going to lie to you. If he did this another 2 or 3 years, gets another, throws another MVP in there or something, sure. Why not? But we're talking about somebody, career. He has 151 touchdowns and 18,991 yards. If that is a Hall of Famer, see, what are we talking about? It's easy to get in the Hall of Fame right now. What? Come on, Bill.
If it were easy to get in the Hall of Fame, Sterling Sharp would be in the Hall of Fame right now.
Should be automatic.
Yeah. He should be. He should be. That's what I'm saying. If it were easy, he would already be in it.
So listen, it's easy for me. Absolutely not.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll say I agree with Connie as well. I don't think he should be in yet. I think he doesn't have enough. I mean, granted, he already has the one Super Bowl, which is great, but he needs to have a couple more years. He needs to have like Connie mentioned. I think it's perfect. If he has another good 3 to 4 years, then he's a Hall of Famer. But you can't throw somebody just in the Hall of Fame for a good 4 years. You just can't. It's unfathomable unless if Mahomes somehow had 10,000 yards each of the 4 years and he accumulated 40,000 yards in the span of 4 years, which is mathematically impossible.
Yeah.
That's the only way how he would be in the Hall of Fame. But to be in the Hall of Fame for a quarterback, I think at bare minimum you have to be in the league for at least 8 years, because then in 8 years, if you're a good quarterback, you get upwards of 25 to 30,000 yards if you're a good quarterback in an 8 year span. If you add in an MVP or two, add in a ring or two, 8 years putting up those kind of stat lines, probably has to get upwards of 100 to 200 touchdowns. That wouldn't be a bad career. That could maybe slide you into the Hall of Fame. But for right now, as of this point, no. But is he on track? 1,000%. He is 1,000% on track to be in the Hall of Fame. But as of right now, absolutely not. He is not in the Hall of Fame. If he were to get in the Hall of Fame right now, it would be a disgrace to the Hall of Fame itself.
Okay. Kawhi, what you think, man?
Goddamn.
Out the gate.
No. I mean, obviously we all love what Mahomes has done his time in the league, but he needs more. He needs more of his resume. It's not enough. Not enough. There's plenty of players who don't have what he has right now, but to really get that jacket, he needs some more. He needs some more. I feel like he needs at least 10 years. 10 years.
Facts. What about Danny Amendola?
Yeah, that was a bad take.
That was. Matt, I'm gonna be real with you. You said a lot of things. That might have been the worst one you said.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
What for the Mahomes take? Just as
no. The Mahomes take, I agree with. Last week when he said Danny Amendola was a Hall of Famer.
Ooh, yeah. Okay.
I'm not gonna that was.
Hey,
that was troll level LeBron Skip Bayless bad.
Yeah, that was Bayless level for sure.
Hey, all I gotta say is we all have our swing and misses on takes. That was a miss right there. That's a miss. I'm
some Joey Gallo miss.
That was some Joey. Hey, you know what, CJ? He's on the Dodgers now, and hopefully we'll be able to fix him.
Yeah,
maybe. That's a hard fix. That's a hard fix. It's like trying to fix a toxic woman. You can't. It's gonna be hard to fix. It's gonna be a hard fix. But.
It's tough, man. But listen, is he a Hall of Famer right now? If he was to retire, no. For all the reasons you guys mentioned, Gale Sayers, Terrell Davis, those were the guys that had 7-year careers and they were able to get in. They did just enough, and even still, there was some conversation as for TD at least. Gale Sayers, it was pretty much back then when he retired and he had the eligibility. It was a little different, and during that time, they knew he was one of the greatest running backs. He just had the injuries. TD, same thing. What he did in that 7-year span, winning MVP, 2 Super Bowls with the Broncos, pretty much adding those 2 chips to John Elway's career towards the end there. That put him in. For Mahomes right now, it's just with the passing league and with the way the league is, he's not going to be able to get in.
CJ, I might love to see this comment, by the way.
Oh yeah, he's a Pat. Yeah, my guy Val, he's a Pats fan, man.
You Pat fan too, Val?
Yes, sir.
CJ, I might even go as far to say for Terrell Davis, he was the reason why John Elway even got his rings in the first place. If Terrell Davis doesn't get on the Denver Broncos, Elway might go ringless.
Yeah, he was 0-3 at the time. So yeah, it's definitely looking that way for sure.
Well, listen, that was just a fun little topic. I wanted to see what everybody else thought. I wanted to make sure I wasn't insane. I wanted to make sure the guy that made the video was insane. So with that being said, we'll transition into some of our bigger news. And listen, we would be dumb people if we didn't start off with the biggest news of all. With that being Deshaun Watson His suspension has finally come down. It is 6 games from the honorable judge. I don't remember. What was her name, Matt?
Sue Robinson.
Honorable Sue Robinson, as Pat McAfee always likes to call her. She handed down a 6-game suspension. And immediately, it was like clockwork. The first thing that trended on Twitter, probably still trending right now, was only 6. So obviously people are not agreeing with the with the amount of games he got suspended with. CJ got a little video for us or something here?
Yeah, this is Ian Rappaport, NFL insider, fellow New Yorker. Shout out Ian, man. Don't know him, but maybe soon. But yeah, this is him explaining everything that's going down with the Deshaun Watson suspension.
8:30 a.m. this morning Eastern Time, Judge Sue L. Robinson, jointly appointed by the NFL and the NFLPA, issued her ruling to both sides, giving Deshaun Watson a 6-game suspension, which would mean if this holds October 23rd against the Baltimore Ravens, would be his first game back. But there is so much more than that. This is a 6-game suspension from Judge Sue L. Robinson, but that is not final. As you mentioned, the NFLPA, and on behalf of Deshaun Watson, said yesterday that regardless of the outcome, they would not challenge this and they would not appeal. We have not yet heard from the NFL on whether or not they will appeal. If the NFL does appeal, it would appeal essentially to Roger Goodell or his designee. And then it would be Goodell or his designee deciding, is 6 games enough for Deshaun Watson after violations of the personal conduct policy. Now, there were some settlement talks over the last several weeks and over the last several days. The NFL initially pushed for an indefinite suspension of 1 year, then with a chance to reapply. Obviously, the NFLPA would not accept anything close to that. They pushed for far, far less. The two sides were not able to come to terms on any sort of settlement. So they left it to Robinson to decide. And that is where we are now, 6-game suspension. And from the money standpoint, of course, we know Deshaun Watson got the $230 million fully guaranteed contract upon his trade from the Texans. It is a very low base salary and a $45 million signing bonus. So based on that, it is just $345,000 that he loses based on the 6-game suspension if this holds.
Yeah, I mean, you hear everything there, and I think that's kind of the big question to, Val, by the way, don't worry. We do this on Twitch as well. You can view this on my Twitch, which is Anthony_Conover. CJ, what's yours over there?
CJ versus the world, all one word.
Yeah, so Anthony_Conover or CJ versus the world, and listen, you can see us on Twitch as well. But yeah, I think that's kind of the big question right now. And then the other thing is, everybody looks at what Calvin Ridley got, and all the other suspensions that have basically ever happened in NFL history is kind of being compared to this one. Brady got 4 for this, and DeAndre Hopkins got 6 for the trace amount of PEDs, and this and that and this and that. This was the first suspension under the new CBA that was kind of like this. They went to the independent judge. Everybody hated that Goodell was judge, juror, and execution on everything else. So they went this new route, and this is where I'm interested to see what happens next, because like you said, or not like you said, like Rappaport said, the NFL can appeal this, and then it kind of goes back to the whole thing of Goodell being judge, juror, and executioner again. So he can kind of just, overrule this and be like, hey, yeah, don't agree with this. And for once, I almost think if he actually did it, this would be the one time people would agree with Goodell. Because, like I said, you see it on Twitter, you see it everywhere, and on social media, whatever, wherever you look. People are not happy with the amount of games that he is missing. So if all of a sudden Goodell was like, yeah, I'm going to raise it to 12, I think for the first time ever, Goodell would receive everybody would actually clap instead of boo him if he went onto a stage and did it. And I mean, it would be a little weird in my opinion, which is why I don't think it's going to happen, because this is the first case. This is the first case like this. So imagine with the first case of a new agreement, you're like, never mind. I disagree with you. So I don't think it's going to happen because of that. And I also, let me say this, find it a little suspicious that the NFLPA, before the announcement came down on how many games it would be, were like, oh yeah, we're happy with the ruling no matter what it is. We're not going to appeal it. Because that's such a lie. They had to have had inside information that it wasn't going to be for a year. Because they had said previously, if it was for a year or for a certain amount, they were absolutely not going to accept it, whatever. And then all of a sudden, day before it comes down, it was, oh yeah, we accept the ruling. So you're telling me if it was all of a sudden a year, they would have just like, oh yeah, great job, Judge. We appreciate you screwing our client out of a year of pay. They wouldn't have said yes. So I don't know. We can get into the whole conversation of comparing suspensions, and what he did versus what other people did, but 6 was definitely not what I was expecting. I, for a long time, said it was going to be 10 or 12, and then the NFLPA would appeal it and try and get it down to like 6 or 8. But 6 from the start kind of surprised me, CJ.
I thought it was going to be around 8 games, 8 to 10, just because not only just for what happened and everything that transpired, even though he was found not guilty on all the charges from 2 grand juries, but just from a PR standpoint and just how it's a bad look on the league. And, he's obviously one of the best players in the NFL. So I saw 10 games, but 6 is, I believe, like you said, under the CBA, under those type of guidelines. Can't really compare, for the people comparing Calvin Ridley and Brady. That's just each situation has different punishments. So again, if that's something that the players and the NFLPA, if that's something they want to attack or rebuttal or have something against, then they need to do that when it's time to talk to these owners, when you writing up a new collective bargaining agreement on what type of suspension needs to be held depending on a certain penalty. You can't. It's just what it is. Calvin Ridley, even though he didn't play in those games, you can't go and bet on the games like you play in the NFL. Even though you weren't physically playing in those games, you still can't do that. It's still although everything that what really did was separate than what Deshaun did. So it's just going to be different. And then from Deshaun again, when we talked about this, I said it too. I was like, he was found not guilty, and if it happens. Like if he did it, and if I said if he had did it, then he deserves the penalties, the harsh penalties that came with it, the consequences. But in the same right, there's a lot of situations where there's a lot of women as well that try to prey on athletes and lie and say this player did X, Y, and Z, and for money. We see it all the time. We see it a lot. We see it sometimes in college. We see it sometimes in the NFL too. So you gotta look at it at both sides. And obviously, national media, they're only gonna look at it from one side. But it's a tricky situation. Nobody's ever gonna be satisfied. If he had got 10, people would have said he should have got the whole season. If he would have got the whole season, people would have said he should have been banned from the league. So it's like, you can't really satisfy everybody. 6 was it was a shocker, but then again, he missed the whole year last year as well. He didn't play all last year.
Yeah, but he didn't play last year because they wouldn't play him.
Well, yeah, it was an agreement between him and the Texans to not play, and that probably might have played a factor in that suspension. Had he played, maybe the suspension would have been more. But yeah, it's just for Deshaun, it's just got to move on and focus on football now. The decisions that he made. I call this episode "Think Before You Act" because we don't know what happened. Nobody was there, but he made a bad decision based on. I mean, I have my thoughts on what he did. I'm not gonna say it because obviously, this is not really my platform.
He's been down egregious many times.
Yeah, but it's just like
26 women and talking to 66 different one in the course of a year. Yeah, I'm I'm gonna go with something happened.
Yeah, I mean it's very it's possible. It's very possible. I mean, again,
it's like pimp level status.
I mean, he was on trial, and I mean, there's no evidence found. So I don't know. I don't know what to. I mean, no evidence found after all the allegations. It's like, what can you do? But he just has to make smarter decisions, regardless of the situation. You gotta know who you are, what you're doing. You have to understand your place right now, and as a public figure, especially in this league, with the Shield and football as being one of the most talked about sports in America. So you got to make sure you know what you're doing, man, and you got to make smart decisions. You can't feel like you're invincible and feel like you can do anything you want just because you're a quarterback or because you have X amount of dollars in your bank account. So this is a learning lesson for him, and this is it. There's no second chances. I mean, you gotta stay on the straight and narrow for the rest of his career.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 1,000%. That's definitely a fact there. I feel like I had a feeling like when reports first came out of it's going to be 6 to 8 games. I thought for sure it's going to be more the 8-game mark, but I mean, him being suspended 6 games, I think it makes the most sense. I mean, will some people consider it not enough? Absolutely, people will consider it not enough just because of the stuff that he was accused of. But I think CJ brings up a great point there of he didn't play at all last year, which definitely plays a key factor. Because like he mentioned earlier as well, like if he would have played at all last year, yeah, I could see it being, like 8 to 10 games. But I think 6 games will be one of those to where like they play the 6 games. I think isn't the Browns bye week like week 7?
No,
yeah,
9.
Oh no, week 9. Yeah, week 9. Yeah.
Week 9. Okay, so even then, like you miss the first 6 games, and then week 7 they play the Ravens in October.
Yep.
Yeah, so then they play the Ravens in October. So you look at he misses the first 6 games. The Browns already have to deal with their own like situation because it's the same old Browns, but they also have to deal with like the opposing fans going in anyways, just from all this Deshaun Watson situation. Like you gotta look at if you're the Browns, you gotta think 6 games. We're not gonna have our main quarterback. We're either going to have Jacoby Brissett or Josh Rosen as our 2 QBs. That's exactly it's doo-doo right there. It's dog water. It's not what you want as your reliable sources. But I mean, it's one of those where if you're the Browns, if you could find a way in those 6 games to be 3-3 or even 4-2.
I mean, they have the easiest schedule in the NFL through the first 6 weeks. Like
through the first 6 weeks, if you could find yourself 3-3, 4-2, you'll be in a good spot because those last couple of games, it's gonna look like it's gonna be like staring down a gun barrel. It's gonna look bad. Like you got yourself a death wish, which we'll get into later on when we talk about the AFC North. But it's suspension of 6 games. I don't plan on seeing Goodell appeal for the certain fact of like if he does appeal. I know Connie says if he does appeal and they change the games, it may look better. I might look at it differently because then it's the point of, well, then why would you even have the arbitrator in the first place if you're just going to appeal and change the games? Why not just still keep it the same way? Like keep the same energy that you had before. Like if you're going to change it from 6 games, then why would you have Sue Robinson, the honorary Sue Robinson, make the decision of 6 games when, in all honesty, you're just going to be like, no, you know what? We don't want you, Sue Robinson. I'm going to change it from 6. I'm gonna put him at 10 games. Then Sue might even look at it and say, then why would you have me here? Like I feel like it has to stay at 6 games, just because it's her final say, and it's the arbitrator, and it's the new way that they want to do it in the CBA. So I just think it has to stay, because then if it does not only will it kind of look at people and be like, all right, Goodell, like, so what's the whole point? It'll also kind of give Sue Robinson kind of like less trust in a way of just saying like, why would you bring me here if you're just not going to roll with the 6 games I threw out there? Like why have me here when you're just going to be the one making the decisions anyways? So I think it has to stay at 6 games. If anything, if he does appeal it, he would change it to 8. So it'll be like the halfway mark of the season because, 17, there isn't like a full in the middle, but half between 8 and 9, it's like right there. And then even if Deshaun Watson, like the Browns, they got a bye week 9. So essentially, if he does change it to 8 games, it'll be like 9. Like 9 weeks he'll be suspended. But
well, now, which I also didn't know until yesterday, with the new CBA, you can come back halfway through your suspension to be with the team.
So technically speaking, Deshaun Watson could be with the team activities week 5.
No, he's suspended 6 games, so week 3.
No, week 3, right.
Oh, my! You said half the suspension.
Yeah, so week 3, he's allowed to be with the team. So definitely kind of weird. Quando, what you think?
Same thing, honestly. Same thing Matt said, pretty much. I think eight games is sufficient. 6 is like, all right, it's not enough. Like, it's not enough. 6 games is like, no. 8. I feel like half the season is more like it. Half the season, or maybe a little bit above half the season in a couple games, but half the season is more appropriate, I think. It's a complex situation to begin with, so I don't think anybody has ever heard of this in the world. Maybe, I don't know, but it's crazy. It's crazy. He was found not guilty, so he has that in his corner. Guilty until proven innocent. It's just I also do feel like I don't know if anybody feels this way, but does anybody feel like the Texans have something to do with this?
Oh, 1,000%.
Yeah, they do. I mean, they're
1,000%.
have a relationship with the owner, with the lawyer. The ownership has a relationship with Tony Busby, the lawyer that was
and they even gave Deshaun Watson non-disclosure agreements. So in a way, that's like enabling. They're 1,000%.
Well, we know the owners get slaps on the wrist. As we see with Daniel Snyder right now in Washington, and Stephen Ross. You're about to dive into that in a couple minutes. So, but yeah, Kwai, any final thoughts on this suspension?
Well, I mean, I honestly no, for real. Besides the fact that half the season will be sufficient. I expect him to come back ready.
Should be completely fresh. Missed the whole year last year.
Very fresh, especially because he only get from the Brown sources, so he'll be very fresh.
I'm crying. All right, next topic we got Miami Dolphins. Listen, this was a shocker today. NFL was investigating on the situation that happened with Brian Flores. Brian Flores sued the Dolphins a few months ago. He got fired, and he felt like he wasn't getting his fair share as the head coach of the Miami Dolphins. Felt like there was some tampering. He was being pressured to tank, offered allegedly $100K to lose each game throughout the 2019 season so they could get a high draft pick, which would have been, they wanted the first pick, so that would have been Joe Burrow. Thank Jesus he's not in the AFC East, because that would have been crazy. And then they ended up taking Tua and not Justin Herbert. Thank Jesus 2 times, because that would have been a struggle, to say the least, having those two guys, Allen and Herbert.
You might have been swept.
Yeah, I don't know. He didn't need a. Connie would have needed a new co-host, man. I don't know. I don't know how I would have been able. I don't know how I would have been able to cover the NFL, bro. Every four times a year, having to worry about Herbert and Allen. But nonetheless, they took Tua, and and the NFL came down and they got some. I don't want to say harsh. It's kind of a little bit of a slap on the wrist. I have also Ian Rappaport again talking about the situation that transpired. Pretty lengthy video, so for the viewers, bear with us, and then for the audio people that's watching on the podcast later on, you guys could get a better understanding of what happened with the Miami Dolphins and the NFL's penalty today. Just gonna pull that up for you guys.
See, is there any way you can turn it up a little bit? The last one I could hear, but it was a little low.
No problem. Let's see. Hopefully, you'll see this could work. Yeah.
See if that volume's all the way up.
All right.
Yeah, so much here, Tom.
There we go.
do it. Let's go through this a little bit. We'll start with the tanking allegations that former head coach Brian Flores made. And, as the report states, the players played hard. They did not try to lose. And they actually commended Brian Flores for keeping this team together and keeping them from essentially ignoring the words of owner Stephen Ross. So basically what this report states is that the words were spoken and nobody listened to them. They kept playing, but also noting that words are important. They matter. The context matters, and it could lead the team to go basically the wrong way toward tanking if another owner or if Stephen Ross ends up doing this again. So it's not exactly an exoneration, I would say. It is simply saying that owner Stephen Ross said it, but maybe not in the context that would necessitate a penalty for this, and that the team played hard regardless. That is significant and interesting with regards just to the tanking. As far as the tampering, this is the most egregious tampering that, I'll just speak for myself here, that I can remember in 10 years. It is blatant. It is, firsthand knowledge of the owner going after the greatest quarterback we've ever seen and Sean Payton, while both are employed, both share the same agent, all parties participating. It is honestly unbelievable that all this is true and happened. We have never seen it before. So the penalties to lose a first-round pick and a future third-round pick, I mean, that's with the end $1.5 million, and for Beal a fine as well. Those are, I guess, significant in when it comes to football, but the way that the Dolphins simply pretended the rules did not exist is mind-boggling, and it certainly is a significant day for the NFL. Yeah, so much here, Tom. So let's.
I mean, there you have it.
Is it really?
All right. So that was that was Ian Rappaport, pretty much describing what happened. So 2019, in the reports, August of 2019, Brady, Sean Payton, Stephen Ross were all on a yacht discussing the future of them potentially teaming up and going,
things.
Yeah, chopping it up on a potential link up to go to Miami. Stephen Ross offered part ownership to Brady as a pitching point for him to go there, and then 2020 as well. I heard in the report those talks still transpire. Stephen Ross went to the University of Michigan, so did Tom Brady, so they have that relationship there as being UM alums. It's kind of wild. It's kind of wild, and you would think, well, why didn't he go to the Dolphins once he became a free agent? After leaving New England instead of going to the Buccaneers. This might have been a reason, because it could have definitely played a part in this happening. And I'm pretty sure Brian Flores would have said something earlier had Brady and Sean Payton potentially have made that move to the Dolphins back then. So he decided to stay in Florida, but go to the Bucs instead. We know the rest is history. So now we got 3 teams involved. We got the Patriots, because again, this was still when Brady was New England Patriot. The Bucs and the Dolphins and the Saints. So 4 teams, all involved in this, little fiasco. I'll start with you, Quan, and then we go with Connie and then Matt. What's your thoughts on this? Do you feel like this suspension was, this penalty, not suspension, but this penalty was too light for Stephen Ross and the front office in Miami? And do you think Brady should, receive some type of penalty, knowingly having those conversations, going on the yacht, talking to Stephen Ross, knowing that he was, committing tampering violations?
I don't think people realize how big this is. Like this is just because it's Brady and Sean Payton. This is
it was trying to Hey, go ahead.
Crazy. That's crazy. That's like, that's like LeBron James and Dwayne Wade in the room.
Yeah, it's in a football sense. Facts.
Yeah, it sounded like the same thing. I feel like, well, of course, from an unbiased standpoint, I wouldn't say Tom Brady should get fined for it. He was trying to get away from.
What you got him on? What you got him in fantasy? You got him on your fantasy. You do that week one job.
England, man. So I don't know, but no, I feel like everybody involved should have got some type of penalty. Like the Dolphins, you took away 2 draft picks, you lose the first rounder. That's gonna hurt. Finding them the money is like, okay, you're gonna get that to charity. They do that anyway.
What's 1.5 to a billionaire?
Yeah, he's a fucking billionaire. I said if anything, they should have probably took more picks. More picks. 2 picks ain't shit.
Especially when one of those picks is, listen, it's a first round pick, but they have 2 first round picks in the year that they took 1 first round pick away, so they still have a first round pick.
Yeah.
Technically.
They should have took 2 first rounders. But yeah, pretty much, yeah. I feel like there should be way more penalties going on for all parties involved.
It is a big deal, and I am kind of curious. CJ, I didn't even really think about it. I wonder what happens if Brady does go to Miami and then they win a Super Bowl and then they find out about the tampering. Like, what happens? I don't think they would make him forfeit the Super Bowl.
Nothing happens. It'd be like Spygate. It's like you just get off
something.
The rings count. The rings matter, but you just get penalized for that season. That's about to occur. That's it. That would have been crazy.
And then for the penalties, I can agree. Like I think you hurt people more by taking away draft picks than you do finding them money. $1.5 million is $1.5 million to me and you. To a billionaire, it's like, okay, well, I can't, go to Dubai for the next 2 months like I plan to.
It's like a toast up.
That's
facts.
They had that in the ashtray of their car, probably. And then, it's kind of hard. It's kind of difficult when you get into what other people should be suspended for, or if they should get in trouble, because so you go on the yacht, whatever. How am I supposed to know that it's not just a friendly yacht trip? First of all, now in the back of my head, am I saying, I'm a free agent this year and this owner of a team wants to take me out on a yacht? I don't think I get too many yacht invites normally, especially from a rival, owner. So you probably have it in the back of your head. But if I'm there and I'm clueless and I'm an idiot, which by the way I am, and then all of a sudden the guy's just like, by the way, I'd love you and Sean to be on the team. I'll give you a part owner. I'm gonna get suspended for that. That's why. How am I supposed to know what he's gonna say? I'm gonna get suspended for what somebody else said to me.
Yeah, but come on. At the end of the day, it's like you're on a yacht with like you said, the owner of the Miami Dolphins and an active NFL head coach on the New Orleans Saints. What else is there to be talked about? Business maybe. Yeah, business and teaming up together. Forming a powerhouse in Miami.
Maybe he was saying, boys, you like this yacht? Maybe he's saying, boys, you like this yacht? Let me show you some business tricks as to how you can afford this yacht.
Yeah, maybe they're planning like a fishing trip on the yacht.
No. Here's the thing. You guys are taking into account that they're on the yacht or whatever, and I kind of understand that. What if I'm passing you in the hall, CJ, and you're like, yo, by the way, I'm starting a new podcast. Would really like to steal you away from that other place that you're at. I'm going to get suspended because you talking to me.
I'm not saying you should get suspended. I'm not going to go that far, but I'm saying
you got to, because look at other sports too. CJ, Mr. Host of Count the Bucket over there. We got tampering in the NBA every single offseason. There's 3 investigations right now in the NBA. No player gets in trouble ever. It's always the people that are doing the tamper. It's never the player involved.
Unless you Miles Bridges.
It's 2 people in the conversation. It's two people in that conversation. I'm not saying he should get suspended though. I'll say that on record. He should be suspended. That's
also I want to know what the conversation was. Because how do we know that it wasn't? Well, no, because it's different.
How do they know?
No, because what if the conversation is, hey, Brady, Sean, would love to have you on the team, give you a part ownership. And Brady was immediately like, yo, don't even like stop saying that. Like, I'm a free agent right now. You're going to get me in trouble. Because if it's that, then it's like, okay. But, listen, I guess I could kind of agree that if it was, hey, I would really enjoy that. I'll give you my phone number. Let's talk a little bit more. Then, maybe you can get into the conversation of, some tampering stuff. And then
Tom had one foot out. This is again the first conversations they had was in August of 2019. So Tom's still a Patriot. He really had one foot out the door already, and obviously, ultimately, we know that he ended up leaving. So the conversations are pull up to Miami, and the conversations pull up to Miami. Come get. Yeah, I'll give you a share of the Dolphins as well. And then when you could retire, you could be an owner / player, which is like Jordan did with the Wizards.
I'm a little confused though, because when did they say this conversation happened?
It was apparently it was in 2019 and also in 2020 as well.
No, but do we know when in 2019?
But they said August.
That doesn't make sense to me though. That's after free agency.
No, I'm saying, well, it wasn't. Didn't Brady go? Brady went to the Bucks in 2020.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but like March of 2020.
Yeah.
Oh. See, in my head, I'm thinking different.
That's what I'm saying. Brady was still on the Patriots when he had the original conversations with Steven, and Sean Payton was still with the Saints when they first had those conversations. Then the season went by, then Brady left, as we know, and then I don't know. Maybe they had more conversations. I never even heard Miami be in that. Remember, because it was what, the Chargers, the Colts.
It was
so the Chargers,
49ers.
Yeah, the 49ers. I heard a few times.
Yeah, Miami wasn't even in that. As a destination. So
I don't know. I just feel like getting the player in trouble for something that the owner and everybody else saying.
How do you guys think Drew Brees feels about Sean Payton?
I mean, I don't think he cares. I
will say though, the one thing that I feel like everybody is kind of glossing over though, because obviously the big focus is sort of on the tampering thing. Brian Flores' case is done. Like, I mean, there were a few people that thought like he had a chance, and they looked into the whole paying him off and this and that, whatever, blah blah blah. You can kiss that case goodbye, because the NFL literally said that. What did Rappaport say? That he didn't actually say it like that.
Yeah, like it was like jokingly said, yeah. Oh, hey, if you lose, I'll give you $100K.
And then when Hugh
Jackson. Yeah, he was just trying. He was just trying to get his name in the news. He wasn't.
That case. See ya.
Yeah.
NFL don't got to worry about no paying to lose anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a fact. One thing I will say is also as well. Besides Stephen Ross getting fined $1.5 billion, he's also suspended through October 17th, which means he can't be at any Miami Dolphins facility events or anything like that, and can't attend any league meeting before the annual meeting in 2023. And then also it turned out Beal, who's like the next in command, was fined $500,000 and isn't permitted to attend 80 meetings for the rest of the 2022 season. And then on top of that, they lost their first round pick this year, and then 2024 for third round pick. So I mean, they came down heavy. It makes sense.
That's heavy?
It was well, they came down well. I don't know how you look at that. It could be a pause statement there. Maybe, I guess you could say the two first rounders, I guess, would make it make sense. But it's kind of one of those towards like something I guess had to be done. Like if you're wanting to like to set an example on like tampering in the future, I guess this is right here is the example that could be set. Should the players or coaches be punished? Absolutely not. I mean, I don't think, why would Brady get punished? It's not his fault that he's the best quarterback and the Dolphins wanted him. Same thing even with Sean Payton. Like, what are you going to punish Sean Payton for? Oh, you shouldn't have been with the Dolphins. It's the offseason. He's just chilling. He's just doing his thing. Like it's kind of one of those towards like if anything, the Dolphins should be lucky that they only lost the first and a fourth. Like they should be lucky that it was only that, because it could have easily been more. Like they could have easily done more. They just, did that. But I mean, it's just one of those to where, that's like a new precedent. It's a new standard set. And, hey, if you're Tua, you better step the hell up, because they don't got another first-round pick to use in trades. So you better be the real deal, because if you ain't the real deal, well, there's going to be some trouble. There's going to be some trouble in Miami. But, it's one of those where we'll see what happens from here. But, maybe who knows? Maybe that might be a crack to force Stephen Ross to sell the team eventually. Maybe that doesn't force him to, but that could be a crack where it's like, hey, Steven, if you hiccup again, we're going to force you to sell the team. And then I do also want to point out that there's one meme that was thrown out. Bill Belichick, quote unquote, accidentally texted Brian Flores instead of Brian Daboll, which partly led to the division rival losing a first-round pick. Chestnut checkers. That's Bill Belichick playing the long game here. When you think about it that way.
Yeah, it's something like that. Something like that. But I just see it from. I'll just say this before we move on. Like, man, Brady was really trying to stick at the bell, bro, for real. Because
1,000%. He was for sure.
King.
He's for sure sticking at the bells. I do also want to throw out there, like, now that the Brian Flores case is thrown out, it might be a real possibility that he might be blackballed from being like a head coach now. Like, if we're being honest, like without disrespected, like some of the owners might felt, don't be shocked, like if he might not get another head coaching job. Just because like if you throw out that accusation and the case is dismissed, people would be looking at you a little differently. They're like, do you really think that? What do you mean by that? So I mean, we'll see what happens. I mean, I know he's like a defensive assistant with like the Pittsburgh Steelers, but don't be shocked if like Brian Flores' name may be in the head coaching race, but don't be shocked if his name isn't called because of this past incident.
Yeah, it's very possible. He could definitely that could play a factor.
Because once you poke up the owners are the big boys. They're like the elite of the elite.
Right.
You mess with one, you mess with all. So you better hope and pray. Maybe he'll get another opportunity. Maybe he will, but don't be shocked if, maybe for like the next 2 or 3 years, you don't see Brian Flores as a head coach. You just see him as more of a coordinator.
Yeah, that's a fact. I'm just saying, like, before we get into the Cardinals, Brady was really trying to go to Miami and battle Bill twice a year. That would have been must TV.
Hey, that would have been that would have been fireworks. Imagine Tom Brady. Hey, if Tom Brady was in Miami, though, Green Bay would have been in Super Bowl 55. You could book that. Now, would we have won it? To be determined. We probably would have choked that one away. But I know for sure we would have been
to Brady and the Dolphins.
Well, hey, Brady and the Dolphins are in the AFC. Maybe we could have played the Dolphins in that AFC.
In the Super Bowl, we would have lost to him.
Yeah, but still,
well, then again, I lied because that means Rodgers would have had to get past the NFC Championship game.
Hey, he probably might have, maybe. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Maybe we're still good at choking the NFC Championship games. But I mean, hey, one can hope.
Brady wanted to stick it to Bill twice a year. That's my petty king, though. That's my petty king.
1,000%.
Because let me tell you something. If I'm in that position, my team that I played for 20 years don't want me back, I would do the same thing. I would go to our rival, play him twice a year, and beat them.
So what you're saying is, say for example, if you played for the Yankees for 20 years on the Yankees, you would go to the Boston Red Sox if they didn't want to re-sign you?
Bro, if they didn't want me at the end of my career after I just won 6 championships with them, hell yeah.
Ooh, petty.
I don't think it was they didn't want him.
First year in Boston.
I don't think they wanted
Bill. I mean, Tom just wanted to leave, bro. He was just tired of hearing the you suck, and that was the wrong read every morning during practice, during film sessions.
He wanted.
Tired of Bill drafting N'Keal Harry.
I know it's maybe a Florida thing, but he wanted to go JIT mode.
Yeah, I'm weak. I'm weak. All right, so another thing that we wanted to talk about was after last week's embarrassment. The Arizona Cardinals and
certified embarrassment,
and how they handled this independent study clause in Kyler Murray's contract after being bullied by the media and by pretty much everyone else that heard about the story. They decided to remove the clause from Kyler Murray's contract. We said this last week. I felt like this easily could have been a verbal discussion between Kyler, his agent, and the Cardinals front office. Definitely didn't need to be put in writing, especially if you feel like this is your guy and this is going to be your franchise quarterback for the future. Connie, I'll start with you. What's your thoughts on this, man? This is just, again, this is bullying at its finest right here.
It's funny, man. It's low key just funny because like this is the thing I'm trying to figure out too. Like, I want to know who leaked it because it had to have been leaked. And if you want to say, oh, it was leaked by the Cardinals because they want to prove that, like, because they kind of want to have like backup that if Kyler and this contract somehow doesn't work out, that see, look, this is the reason why, it didn't work out. We had to put in his contract for him to watch film. So you kind of think that. And then the Cardinals take it out of the contract. So then you kind of go to Kyler and you're like, oh, I leaked it because I know that everybody's going to think this is a bunch of BS. And, hopefully I'll raise some awareness for it. And I don't think he ever thought that they would take it out. But either way, no side looks good because the first part of this, Kyler looks like an idiot who has never watched film before and is, not working hard. And then the second part is the Cardinals look like idiots because they take it out of the contract after it gets leaked and everybody is bullying people.
Yeah, it got leaked. So when these contracts happen, this is what I've heard from different reporters, that they'll get the contract and then people from the team or agents, they'll send the contracts to reporters. And that's how Ian Rappaport and some other reporters, that's how they ended up seeing that clause in the deal. So it wasn't Kyler. If Kyler did it, yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why it wouldn't even make any sense for either Kyler or the Cardinals, like you said, because that'd be dumb.
But that's the thing, and then that's the thing in total, though.
Right.
You knew that this was probably not going to be a good look, so why would you put it in the contract in the first place? Like, you could have just saved embarrassment for your team and for Kyler for like 72 hours of the news media cycle. You could have saved embarrassment. You could have saved 72 hours of embarrassment for your franchise if you just don't put this in the contract. So, like, I don't know. I listen, and I do agree with Kyler with the one thing he said. I'm sure you guys saw too, that like, and, I was joking before when I said that he's never watched film because, like he said, you really think. Listen, well, let me give you a little bit of Kyler Murray's background, right? First of all, Heisman winner. Pretty. Some would say that's pretty good. First round pick no, actually not first round pick. First overall pick in the NFL draft. Yeah, probably pretty good at football. And listen, both of those are very impressive. Very impressive. And this might sound stupid with me saying this, but I think the most impressive thing that I've ever heard about Kyler Murray is that people in Texas think that he is the greatest Texas high school player of all time. You know how many people come out of Texas every year? Half the NFL is probably Texas. And people think that Kyler Murray is the greatest player in the history of Texas. So let me give you a small.
No, that has to be false because I know there's a man named Drew Brees that went to a Texas high school.
Well, guess what? No. I think they mean in high school though, not the NFL.
In high school, in high school.
Well, Drew Brees went to a Texas high school as well. I believe.
Guess what? Kyler Murray was better in high school.
When Kyler came out of high school,
Allen High School, right?
Yeah, he was definitely one of the best quarterbacks.
So people think he's the greatest Texas player in history, a Heisman winner, and the first overall pick. Oh, I forgot. Rookie of the year. So if you think
baseball too, got drafted by the A's.
He was like the third pick in the baseball
top 10
draft.
too.
Yeah.
So if you think that Kyler did all of those without watching film, what he said, you're right. You're kind of an idiot. Like, I'm sorry. There's not really another way to say it, I should say. You're kind of dumb if you think he did all of that without ever watching film. So It was probably an unnecessary thing to put in the contract. Probably should have never been in the contract. Made them look bad. Made him look bad for a little bit. And now it's a non-story because they took it out.
Yeah, 1,000%. I feel like for the Cardinals to remove the clause from Kyler Murray's contract, it made sense. I mean, when it first came in, I agree with you guys. Well, I thought it was a complete embarrassment. Like you're almost in a way insulting Kyler Murray's intelligence. Like, look, I know you've been slumping the last 2 years, like during the second half of the season. But if you're going to throw that in, you might as well throw that same thing in for Cliff Kingsbury. Hey, Cliff, don't fuck up the second half of the season. If you do, we won't pay you. It's just like it was so unnecessary. I don't know how Kyler's agent didn't catch that while reading this contract. He's like, yo, don't sign this contract. They're trying to disrespect you. Me, personally, I would not let that slide when they said you got to study for 4 hours. I would not take that level of disrespect.
I'm taking that, bro. You crazy, bro. That's it? That's the only clause in a $230 million contract? All I got to do is watch 4 hours.
Tell them to remove it, or I won't sign it.
Bro,
you tell him you still sign it, but if you're petty, you just go ahead and say, "Hey, I won't sign this contract. Get rid of this clause." Don't try to disrespect me like that, because that's almost insulting. Like,
so
it's insulting to think that
I wouldn't think it was really going to be a deal breaker.
It depends on how petty Kyler Murray is.
No, I'm saying to both. I mean, I guess to both of you. It's not like that was ever going to be a deal breaker in the contract. So CJ saying I'd sign it anyway. Listen, that contract was getting signed no matter what. And Matt,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, like
that's what I'm saying.
How about this? How about this? If I were his agent, I would have threw it out there. Hey, you can still sign this, but in this clause, they're trying to say you should watch 4 hours of film. Like, how do you feel about it? Like, do you think that's insulting to you, or do you think that's fine? You can still sign away. And if he signs away, hey, no problem. Then you can just go out and say, you know what, we were aware of this, we were told this, and hey, we still signed it. It was just a bad look. But I mean, like Connie mentioned, this is when bullying works. Bullying works in certain ways. Not all the time.
I think we should bring bullying back. That's just
not PR. That's what happens when you get back. They didn't want that PR and that story to circulate.
I just like how they said in their statement that it was received the wrong way. Like what? How are we supposed to receive that? You told us that your quarterback is being forced to watch hours of film because basically that if he's being forced to do it, which means he doesn't do it voluntarily. And we just watched the documentary with Brady.
Just not do it enough, right?
And we just watched the documentary with Brady where he said he could watch 20 hours of film a day and be happy.
It's just that clause I was throwing in there. I think it was just unnecessary from the get go. Like, you could have saved, like Anthony mentioned, you could have saved yourself 72 hours of media press, of all that press, if you just didn't include it. Nobody would have even cared. Nobody would be like, oh, hey, Kyler Murray signed his contract, the next big new thing. But no, what came out of it? Oh, my God, they're trying to say that he's watching 4 hours of film. What does this man not watch film? Of course he watches film. That's how he made it to the NFL. That's how he got to this position to be the number one overall pick. It was ridiculous from both sides, and it's just one of those to where glad they finally got it out, because that'd be something, because they already got to worry about DeAndre Hopkins not being there for 6 games. That would have been another thing on top of it, where it's just like, what are the Cardinals doing? And it also in a way resembles classic Cardinals moment, like when you think like a small poverty franchise can't make any more mistakes. There it is right there. They just throw that in there. So, we'll see what happens. I don't think anything bad will come of it, but I'm glad they removed it, because it was ridiculous to even throw that in the first place. Especially when you're a third place team. It's one thing to where if you're a division winner or second place, but you're a third place team. Come on now, what are you doing?
Fast, Quan, what's your thoughts on this, man? Before we dive into some other NFC West news.
Disrespectful. Like, when the news broke, I'm pretty sure, like everybody else, I just looked at my phone, just like, why is this even news? Like you said, I didn't know they sent, like, I guess, top ESPN reporters. ESPN knows everything at this point. But I didn't know they sent them their actual contracts for them to read over it too. Like, that's crazy. But for that clause to be in there, and it kind of gave me, like, I'm like, hold up, Kyler Murray doesn't watch film? That can't be true. There's no way in hell he doesn't watch film. This guy is amazing. Like, you can't be a quarterback in the NFL at his size, especially, and not watch film. You got to watch film. So just to put that in there, it kind of made me look back into initially when he was beefing with the front office of Arizona, doing
Yeah.
it with social media, taking off all his pictures. I was like, oh, okay. Now this makes sense. He don't like y'all, but you know what? Y'all gonna pay him anyway. And he got his money. I would have signed to say, hey, if that was in the contract and I gotta watch 4 hours of film, all right, cool, no problem.
So
I'm signing that.
that's it. That's what I'm saying.
Like guaranteed.
See, I'm watching 20 hours of film for that, bro.
Yeah, it's easy. It's easy. Yeah, it's just they had to like everybody said they had to make this move. Just don't want this lingering out throughout the entire training camp. You want to move on, focus on the season. If they start losing, it's gonna come up again. They're gonna say, "Oh, they should have kept it in the." That's what people are gonna say. They should have kept it in the contract.
Watch film.
Yeah,
I can't wait for that meme, bro.
Should have kept it. Hey, he didn't watch 4 hours. He watched 3 hours and 59 minutes.
What happened?
Didn't get the full 4 hours.
Yeah, now with the times that we're living in, you could take it back, but it's gonna last. Yeah, it's gonna last.
I will
forever.
say his numbers
do think-
drop when the new Call of Duties come out. Just
Yeah,
saying.
I do remember. I think I remember saying last week, like if they lose in the playoffs, like the meme potential is through the roof. You're like, well, didn't study the 4 hours, man.
No, CJ, I mean that answer. Did you see that tweet?
Didn't study Aaron Donald for 4 hours. Didn't get it done.
CJ, did you see that tweet about his numbers after the new Call of Duties come out?
Nah,
I guess his fantasy numbers like fall off steadily.
that's crazy, man.
Oh no.
That's bad. That's bad. Modern Warfare 2 about to come out too, bro.
That's what we were talking. That's what I was saying. Hold on, I'm a low key.
No,
You move on. I'm
you
gonna try
need
to find
that
the tweet,
on
and if
Twitter and share it
I
on the
find it,
screen.
I'll
I
put it
gotta
up.
see it.
Word.
I need to see this stat.
Fact.
Because for fantasy football people, that might be in a void when does a new Modern Warfare 2 come out?
I think November.
Actually, wait. Here we go. Ready? I got
Yeah.
the tweet. I found it.
November.
Let's share.
Well, at least you'll get like half the season. Maybe you could draft Kyler Murray and trade
Hold
him.
on. And then let's see. Look at his game after the new Call of Duty comes out. Bam. That orange line is the new Call of Duty. Yeah, so he's down next week.
Be grinding on Call of Duty, man.
And then look at that 2019's bad. Look at 2020.
Bro,
Look at it, ready?
fucking analytics.
Bro, look at that.
Oh my god.
2020 was certainly not good. And then we'll move over to 2021 for the final. This one's not too bad. Not too bad. But I mean that's only because he had a few weeks here after the new COD came out, to be by himself because he was a little hurt. So when he finally came back, but then even after that, I mean, hey, let me tell you, a nice little decline.
Bad look for the guy. For people we got graph charts of this dude Call of Duty pre Call of Duty release and how you play.
No, that's not a pocket. That's some stalkerish reporting.
Put it on himself. Put it on himself, man. Put it on himself.
It's tough life.
Gotta lock in. He just gotta lock in, bro. That division. I mean, a couple years, he could be the king of that division if you really lock in, bro. In a couple years, easy. He's only 20. He's about to turn 25.
If Trey Lance flops.
Then it'll just be those two guys. That's it. I mean, because Seahawks. It's
well, there's still a guy named Aaron Donald, and there's still the Los Angeles Rams that are still there with Mr. Goody Two Shoes, Sean McVay.
They got a couple years. They got a couple years left.
The Rams will run the NFC West as long as Sean McVay is there. Like however long Sean McVay is there, the Rams will run that division. They'll figure it out, especially when you got a guy who said "F them draft."
Yeah, I think as long as Sean McVay is there and they have a decent quarterback.
Yeah, Stafford.
Yeah, there we go. Decent quarterback. However long Stafford and McVay are there, that's where they'll stay on top, and then the rest will follow suit.
That's a fact. And
then you got the Seahawks just at the rock bottom.
Exactly. All right. Speaking of other people that got paid,
I'm sorry, because when you got punch jaw and put on as your quarterbacks, that's a problem. And by that, for those of you who don't know, that's Geno Smith and Drew Lock.
it's
For
tough times
those
for
who
them.
don't know, I know you three understand, but for those who do not know, punch Jaws Geno Smith and then put on his Drew Lock.
This guy got nicknames for everybody.
Hey, they did it themselves, not me. They did it themselves.
All right, we got DK Metcalf, Deebo Samuel just got the bag. We got this graphic up for you guys. Both guys signed 3-year deals, roughly around pretty much the same contract. I think Deebo made like a mil more, maybe 1,000 more, something, 100,000 more, something like that. It's very close. They have the same agent. Shout out this guy. This guy's getting paid. Him, AJ Brown. Yeah, he's the agent of AJ Brown, Metcalf, and Deebo. So he's getting a common percentage of all these guys' contracts.
Those are rookie numbers compared to Scott Boras.
Oh, I mean, Scott Boras.
Scott Boras runs the MLB.
It's not even worth discussing. So yeah, what's your thoughts? I'll start with Connie, and then we'll go with Matt. What's your thoughts on these guys finally getting a deal? You know, Deebo was talking about asking for a trade throughout the offseason, obviously. And for me, I'll just say this real fast. Like, it's just weird when these players, like, did you not think you were going to get paid at least somewhere? So it's like, you know, you want to ask for a trade and do all this and that and be upset. You're going to get your money regardless. Everybody knows how great of a player you are. But what's your thoughts on this deal? These relatively short-term deals. We usually see 5-year type deals for these guys. But these guys, you know, take the short-year deals, get the guaranteed money that they're asking for. And then, you know,
smart.
Yeah, down the road. It's tricky too, though, because it is as we know, it is a violent sport. But you get this guaranteed money. Quan, what's your thoughts on these deals, and how do you see both of these guys playing next season?
I see Deebo coming back and playing even better than last year. Hopefully, he can stay healthy. Hopefully, he can stay fully healthy throughout. You know, I know he wants to play more running back. He wants to play more running back or more wide receiver.
Who's this, Deebo?
Yeah,
well, I mean, I think he just wanted to just get paid.
Apparently, listen.
Well, they gave him some incentives.
He didn't like the whole running back thing.
He didn't like it. He wants to be a receiver. He wants to be a receiver.
In the contract, I believe they gave him some incentives where if he has like 3 like rushing touchdowns, I think he gets like an extra like $300K. Like there's some incentives to like if he gets like rushing stats, like they can pay him for like incentives for achieving those rushing stats. So he might still be running, maybe not as much, but there's some incentives.
Yeah, I don't think it was never about the running back thing. He just wanted to get paid. That's what I feel like it was, because these guys they want the football in their hands as much as possible, whether it's out the backfield or running routes. So he just wanted to get the money. If he was going to do both of those things, he wanted to get paid like it. And I think that's why he signed that deal. But yeah, Quan, what else were you saying?
I feel like Deebo's contract is perfect for him. 3 years. The dynamics that he actually, he plays, running and catching combo, I feel like 3 years is good. If it doesn't work out in San Fran, he can go somewhere else and gives him that range and that flexibility. DK Metcalf, I mean, he absolutely deserves the money. He just wish he wasn't in Seattle. He's gonna rot for maybe a year. But he definitely deserves the money. His next contract is going to be massive if he can stay healthy and produce to the potential I see fit, which is he can get to top 5. I feel like DK can get top 5 if he stays right, but he got to get out of Seattle. And AJ definitely deserves it.
Yeah, I think it's good for everybody. I mean, it's almost a little surprising to me that DK didn't get more guaranteed money. Now that you look at the other people involved here, I mean, he gets 31. AJ Brown got 40. Deebo got 41. And then once again, it's kind of surprising to me though that he got the most average per year, because I think he has the most question marks out of everybody. He hasn't been healthy. I'd probably say the last couple of years, and especially last year. But, when he's on the field, he's an absolute unit. And the Eagles needed a wide receiver desperately. I mean, they have Devonta Smith, but you pair him now with AJ Brown. You obviously hope that Jalen Hurts is that guy now. So it's definitely a good deal for him. And then DK, it's a very good deal because the 3 years, if I'm not mistaken, I think he's going to be 28 when his contract is over. So he balls out the next, 3 years, or I don't know if technically it's 3 years including this one, or if it's 3 years after this year. So if he balls out however many years, and then he's 28 and just came off 3-4 good seasons in a row, you're getting another bag. Congratulations, you're getting a lot more than that 31 million guaranteed. And I mean, by the time the 3 years is up, wide receiver contracts might be into the 30 millions, knowing the way that the NFL money is being thrown around. And then Deebo, I mean, I'm just kind of surprised that he did stay with the 49ers. I really thought that this was going to end up being a situation where he was going to get traded. It kind of felt like that the entire season. And then, he works out this deal. And I mean, it's obviously, listen, 41 million guarantee. I don't think anybody's going to feel sorry for him, but I'm just, like I'm saying, I'm just kind of surprised because I thought that he was really going to get traded. So I'm kind of curious to see, now that it is done, what his role and relationship, with the team is moving forward. If it's going to be a, all right, we got the contract done, like no more complaints, or it's, and it's with all these guys too, because we've seen it, even after you sign a contract, doesn't mean that you're going to be there the entire length of the contract. So are we going to see Deebo or DK in a year, 2 years be like, bro, this is miserable. Like, I'm playing with Trey Lance. He can't throw me a ball past 2 yards. He can only hand it off to me. I'm playing with, Drew Lock and Geno Smith. They can't throw me the ball if their life depended on it. And then, a year or two into the contract, they're like, listen, love what you boys did for me. Took care of the fam, but I'm going to need a trade out of here now as well. But, I mean, I don't know. I kind of doubt that just because you did sign the contracts. And like I said, I guess the contracts don't really mean as much as they used to. But in a weird way, I feel like everybody here is actually going to play out their contract, which shouldn't be weird. But in today's NFL and honestly in today's sports landscape, it kind of is.
Yeah, 1,000%. I feel like the way all these contracts are looked at, I feel like it might be the new wave. You might see these young players sign, like 3-4 years, but allow the guarantees, and then they can lock in on the second one. But I feel like all these players, they deserve what they got. AJ Brown deserved what he got from the Eagles. The Eagles were willing to pay him, and the Titans weren't. Essentially that's why Tennessee traded him, because they couldn't pay him the money that he wanted. Philadelphia came up to the calling, they got it, and now he's in a good spot in Philadelphia. And there's always a what could have been for Philly, because you think about it, if they would have drafted correctly, just think they could have at one point maybe have had Justin Jefferson, Devontae Smith, and A.J. Brown. That could have been possibly a good 1-2-3 trio, but instead you're stuck with bum-ass Rager, and then you bounce back with Devontae Smith and then A.J. Brown.
Nah, they probably wouldn't have made a trade for A.J. if they had Jefferson.
Hey, why not?
Devontae.
Why not?
Because then you would have had to pay. Then 2 years, a year or two from now, you would have to pay 3 guys $30 million.
Yeah, but could you imagine the right now though? Like the right now, like if you would have had AJ Brown, Justin Jefferson, and Devontae Smith as your 1, 2, 3, you're winning the NFC East.
They're winning the NFC East now.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. We'll see. It'll be close.
Cowboys are trash.
We'll see about that. But then DK Metcalf getting the money he deserves. Essentially, like it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that he's stuck in Seattle. But hey, when the bread comes calling, you'll accept it. And then Deebo Samuel, he got the contract that he deserves. He's going to snatch a lot of chains, off the defenses just like he did last year. And it's going to be essentially, we'll see what Deebo Samuel can do now with Trey Lance at the helm. That'll be the ultimate question. We know what he was able to do with Jimmy G there, but now the question is, what is he going to do with Trey Lance? Obviously, you better hope his performance is better, because if he digresses, oh man, it's going to look something. But I don't think he'll digress. I think all these contracts are going to look good. And hey, if you're a Tory dandy, you're living a lifestyle right now. You're living a good life. You got your 3 boys paid, and hey, you're cheering a toast to that one, and maybe you might run into Stephen Ross on a yacht.
Yeah, he's living swell, and if he stays their agent for their next contracts, he's going to be making even more bread. I agree with all of you guys. Not really too much to say there. Just hopefully they all play well, and if not, like Connie said, that those contracts will look very favorable down the road for a trade if they decide to make that move. All right, we also got, before we dive into the AFC North, some other news. It was announced that the Detroit Lions are going to be the stars of the Hard Knocks training camp this summer. Motor City Dan Campbell.
Yes,
we know Skurr comes on and always talks about the kneecaps with
Oh yeah.
with Dan Campbell. So yeah, just talk about that and what's your thoughts on Detroit getting this job?
I'll start first by saying I cannot wait to see what Dan Campbell says on the hard count. The hard count, not the hard count, Hard Knocks. The Hard Knocks are
hard count too, man. Hey, had it right the first time, man.
There are a lot of good sound bites when you look at the Hard Knocks history. I mean, you got in the 2000s when the Ravens were there. You saw Shed and Sharp being locked in the room. You saw them imitate Ray Lewis with the
Detroit should be a 30-second commercial. What a comment! What a comment!
A lot of good sound bites. You even had, remember the one time when Rex Ryan said, "Let's go eat a goddamn snack." I better be hearing some good sound bites with the Detroit Lions. I better be hearing some Dan Campbell going, "Yeah, man, let's go get some kneecaps out here this training camp." Like I gotta see it. I gotta see what Dan Campbell can bring to the table. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be incredible. And hey, who knows? Maybe we'll see Jared Goff, sling some out there.
I mean, listen, I'm only here for Dan Campbell. I'm going to be real.
Oh, 1,000%.
Like, I think the Panthers were another team that was in the running. I mean, I know this got announced a while ago. So I guess, you can't really go back in your decision, but I wish they would go back on their decision and make it the Panthers, because, I mean, at least there you got the QB competition. You got, some pretty interesting characters with Robbie Anderson. DJ Moore is a very good player. So I would have preferred to see them, but I'm all in for Dan Campbell. And I mean, I lied. Aiden Hutchinson will be interesting as well, and Penei Sewell, get to see what he's up to as well. I mean, there was a clip.
Hey, I'm a Ross St. Brown too
of Aiden Hutchinson and going up against Penei Sewell. Sewell looked pretty good against Hutchinson, so you can take that as you have a good tackle, or you can take that as Hutchinson didn't look very good against a good tackle. So
yeah, we're all here
there for Dan Campbell. That's about it.
We are all here for Motor City Dan Campbell, MCDC.
Yeah,
Lions for third place. Lions for third place in the NFC North.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I was just kind of going to say that a lot of people are kind of sort of bullish on the Lions this year, which is a shocker. You don't really see that. They got some talent. They have some talented guys. Connie just talked about Hutchinson, Hawkinson, Finesse.
Wouldn't that be something?
Yeah. DeAndre Swift out the backfield. Amon-Ra Brown, like Skurr just talked about. So they definitely have some talent now. It's just now really it's going to come down to that guy on the center. Goff it is what it is. He is what he is, I should say. I just think next year they'll probably, hopefully they get that right guy, and then it's hard to see them flourish. I like Dan Campbell. He brings a lot of energy. It looks like the guys, they play for him. Hard Knocks is always a good series. Definitely one of the best shows around for sure. Obviously, football within itself, just for the game's sake and just week by week basis, is a reality TV show. So now you have the cameras going in depth to the teams and the locker rooms and seeing these guys. And also, it's also tough too, because we see it's a business and it's life changes for a lot of these guys. A lot of guys get cut. You start out with 90 guys and you finish with 53 by the end of the preseason. So it's real. I think it's going to be great. We're going to see some guys. There's always a guy that people gravitate towards that we probably never heard of, and he's going to be a star of the show. So I think it's really good for the Lions standpoint. Small market, even though Detroit's not really a small market, but they just haven't really been successful for so long. We look at them like a small market, but for them to get some spotlight on them, and again for a team that actually has some really good talent on both sides of the football, I think it'd be great for the casual viewer to see how good this team could potentially be if they just get a couple more pieces. So I'll definitely be tuned in. Got my HBO Max on deck.
Yes,
so
sir.
And then also too, last year they did the Colts in season Hard Knocks, so maybe they do the Panthers.
That was legendary.
Well, I hope that. Well, I think the in-season one they can pick more, and I think they might do like fringe playoff teams.
Isn't the in-season Hard Knocks this year Arizona?
Oh, it is. Oh, I didn't know they announced it.
I have no idea. I'm gonna look it up right now to see.
All right, so yeah, I wasn't aware of.
I didn't know if they already picked one.
Yeah, I didn't know. But I was saying that Carolina, that'd be a perfect one, regardless of who they have on the center going throughout that season. Put the cameras in that locker room. That'd be hilarious.
It is. The Arizona Cardinals will be in
November.
November.
I mean, hey, listen, we can talk about the addendum.
Yeah, no question about it. There's gonna be a lot of talks about that team as well.
Maybe it'll be right around the time Call of Duty comes out. See.
Oh yeah.
Hey,
just
in time for the Cardinals' second half collapse too. It'll be quite a movie.
Man, he better lock in. That boy better lock in, especially all them cameras around him.
Yeah. You better not lock into Call of Duty as much. I know he's with FaZe Clan, but there's a time and a place.
Yeah, exactly. Time and a place. Quan, what's your thoughts on this before we dive into this AFC North preview?
My man's is muted.
He's muted.
What are we doing?
Come on, Chad Johnson. What you doing?
Bad. I do. I mean, I don't know. I watched the Colts one last year, but I'll probably watch this one this year. It's just like I don't know if you guys know, but the Giants haven't been on Hard Knocks, and like I don't think ever, or like it's been like a long time or something like that. I don't know. I'm not sure.
I think they never have.
They've never been on Hard Knocks. No.
It's because of Steve Mayer. It's because of the owner. I don't know why. We had something against Hard Knocks and the whole showing the inside of, But I'm waiting for the Giants to be on that. I don't know why, but it's crazy.
Well, they haven't been as dumpster fire enough to be on the Hard Knocks. Because if you look at what the Hard Knocks is about, it's basically about either like decent teams or a team that's gone through a lot of changes or a team that's been in complete turmoil. And they have to throw it on just to see what kind of entertainment we got. That's what the Hard Knocks is about. It's basically like you get to see like the worst teams in action. Like that's why Detroit is labeled as on the Hard Knocks for this year. They've been so bad for so long. Yeah. And they got a guy and a head coach that said we're biting kneecaps. Who wouldn't want to watch that in 2022? There it is.
Real quick, Connie, what's your favorite Hard Knocks season?
Has to be Ravens 2000.
I wasn't even alive.
Yeah, but you can still watch highlights.
Yeah. I got a lot of things to do with my free time. It's definitely not that.
Yeah, they got it on the tube too. It's crazy. I just saw it recommended. But yeah.
Yeah. Maybe one of them. I don't know. Never. I'm trying to. Honestly, I'm gonna be real. I didn't have HBO Max until like a few years ago. Actually, maybe until like 2 years ago. I think the first time I was ever able to watch Hard Knocks was the Cowboys. Like, because I never had it.
I'll throw in a classic Hard Knocks. I might go with I might either go with the Bengals Hard Knocks one with like James, either the Chad Johnson one where it was like Kiss the Baby, or the one where with the Jets.
Jets.
Where they had the handshaker, which I'm not going to take that. The handshaker, and then let's go eat a goddamn snack.
Yeah,
and then they also have the Darrelle Revis holdout, the extension headlines during that time period. So I think those are by far like the best, and also like the Ravens one is a classic.
Honestly, it might have been the Colts just because I think that might have been the first one I watched all the way through. I watched the Cowboys.
Did they talk about the meltdown because it was during like in season? Like,
they had to. It was happening during the.
Yeah.
Because who was the
Yeah, big
preseason
time.
one last year? Was it the Cowboys?
No. The first ever in-season one they did was the Colts.
No.
They did
No.
the Cowboys in the
No.
offseason.
The preseason one last year.
Yeah, the preseason one was the Cowboys, was it not?
Okay, that's what I said.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it
Oh.
was. That's facts.
Yeah.
Yep.
So last year, honestly, was probably the first year. Actually, no, I lied. Who do we know who was before the Cowboys?
2020 was the Raiders.
Yes, that was the first
the
one.
Raiders with John Gruden.
The
Yeah.
first one I ever watched was the Raiders. That was pretty good. Dude, the whole
was
Antonio
fun.
Brown
That was-
thing.
Yeah, it was. It was definitely very animated. My favorite was the Jets, the one liner with Rex Ryan. Let's go get a goddamn snack after talking to them, and the guy had like a triple X bag of M&Ms, sitting down talking to the team.
Oh, you know what? I totally forgot about
It's
the
crazy.
Browns. I totally forgot about the Browns hard knock where they had that one coach where they said hut, and then the Stokes would just move
Actually,
up each time.
Yeah,
That-
never mind. I've seen the
that's a
Browns
classic.
Hard Knocks too. God damn.
Yeah, with Baker. Yeah, of course. It just
Yeah, Baker,
And
and then
everybody-
Jarvis Landry
Honestly, forgetting
went
stuff.
out off on a tangent, just like, shit, it's fucking contagious.
right.
Cannot be like this.
Yeah, those.
The compilation of that coach saying "hut" is the greatest thing ever. Didn't he die? Honestly.
I'm not sure.
No, I
I'm
think
pretty sure
he's
he
still
did.
alive.
All right, no, I think he's dead. Honestly.
Wow.
All right.
We probably know why if he is.
R.I.P. It's unfortunate. I don't even know what you guys are talking about. But
Bro, you don't remember the big fat offensive line coach for the Browns during that season? Hard
Bob
Knocks?
Wiley.
which
Bob
is
Wiley, he's still
this is the
alive.
one with Baker rookie season.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Bob Wiley is still alive.
Oh,
He's,
okay, good. I thought he
he
passed
most
away.
recently served in the CFL for the Ottawa Red Blacks as an offensive line coach.
All right, still alive and kicking, man. Shout out,
I
Bob.
prematurely killed you, Bob. I'm sorry.
Shout out, Bob, man.
Bob did not deserve that.
You
No,
did not.
listen, that's my beat.
All right, so yeah, let's go into the AFC North. Let's talk about a team that we talked about a little bit earlier in the show. The Cleveland Browns. 8-9 record last year. They've had 30 some odd starting quarterbacks since the early 90s. Just gonna
late
continue
90s.
add to the list now with Jacoby going to be the week 1 starter, and then 6 weeks later, Deshaun Watson will be the starter after that.
No, his new code name is Massage Boy per CJ.
Yeah.
Over that. We got Massage Boy up in here. I'm just like, ain't no way you just said that.
Yeah, bro, that's
That's a new word to live by.
Boy.
put it on himself, man. He put that on himself. But yeah, so yeah, this is no Baker.
Put a lot of masseuse on himself too.
No Odell. Jarvis is not there anymore. This is
Mark Cooper.
they made that trade for Amari Cooper. We know Deshaun pulled up.
Only give up a 5th round pick too. Can you believe that?
It's crazy. $230 million guarantee for Deshaun. So I'm gonna start with Quan, man. What's your thoughts on this team next year? As we know, I'm gonna pull up the schedule for you guys. I'll just read it off real fast for our listeners. Again, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell. Definitely does us wonders, so more people could get an opportunity to see the work that not only that Connie and I do, but also all of our other colleagues with the Unwrapped Sports Network. So yeah, here is the Cleveland Browns schedule.
It's not
So
bad.
we got the Panthers to start off, Jets, Steelers, Falcons, Chargers, the Patriots. So those are the first 6 games without Deshaun Watson. And then from there, you have Baltimore, Cincinnati, bye week in week 9, Miami Dolphins, Buffalo Bills, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Houston Texans, reunion for Deshaun going up against his old team, Cincinnati Bengals, the Ravens, the New Orleans Saints, the Washington Commanders, and then a date that's TBD, the Pittsburgh Steelers, to finish out the season for the Dog Pound. So yeah, so Quan, what's your thoughts on this team? What was your thoughts last year? Just give a brief review of last year, and how do you see this team playing this year, despite the suspension, as we know, with number 4?
Oh, we'll go. Let me see. Last year, Cleveland actually did they make the playoffs last year?
No, they missed.
No
They
shit.
did not.
They missed.
No, they're not. Only teams that made it last year in the AFC North were the Bengals and Steelers.
Steelers.
Yep.
Right. I mean, of course, everybody had high expectations for the Browns last year. Being that they got to the playoffs the year before. You had Odell coming back. You still had Jarvis. Their defense was decent still. So I feel like you get a breath of fresh air with Deshaun coming back. Even though they had this whole case going on still, but hopefully by week 6, their record is somewhat decent. Maybe at worst 2-4 at worst. I want to say at best like 4-2. I feel like they have potential to make the playoffs if when Deshaun comes back, and they could, whatever momentum they have, hopefully is going in the right direction. I feel like everybody should have high expectations for the Browns, regardless of being that it's only 6 games now. I feel like you can definitely have high expectations for them coming up this year.
So we got the schedule right here again, up again. You able to see these teams, bro?
Yeah.
All right. So we're looking at these 6 games, right? That I just went off and said. You said 4-2 is the best case scenario. Worst case scenario is what? Probably 2-4.
Yeah.
Okay. So looking at these teams right now, with Jacoby Brissett being the starting quarterback, we know they got Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, Njoku just got the extension with Cleveland as well. So you got Panthers, Jets, Steelers, Falcons, Chargers, and New England.
Orange is home or white is home?
White is
Orange
home.
is home.
No, white is the home games. Yeah.
Oh, they're playing in Carolina the first game. Oh shit, yeah. Well, they're losing that game.
I think they're losing that game.
Yeah, they're gonna lose that game. I think Baker's gonna torch their ass.
Okay.
The Jets.
No, you shouldn't be thinking about that.
My
No.
boy Zach Wilson, though. My boy Zach Wilson, though, man. Zach Wilson.
Hey, he got the dog in him, but I don't think the Browns got any Cougars on the other side that he can tame.
You rather Zach Wilson with the team they have or Jacoby Brissett with the team they have?
Listen, I'd take Zach Wilson as the quarterback, but listen, the team, the Browns might be 20 times better.
I will say this one thing: if Zach Wilson can spot a Cougar on the Browns sideline, it's game over.
Yeah, this guy's crazy.
It's game over on the field and off.
I'm gonna say they beat the Jets
Yeah.
in Cleveland, and I'm gonna say they beat the Steelers. The Falcons, they'll beat the Falcons for sure. Who's the starter for the Falcons? Mariota.
Mariota. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
talk about a rough life.
Damn. I see them losing to the Chargers. Patriots. Yeah. I don't think they're gonna beat the Patriots. So yeah.
So, 3-3?
I say 3-3. Yeah, 3-3. Yeah, that's respectable too. 500.
All right. So when Deshaun comes back, I mean, this is rough right here. As soon as he comes back, you got Lamar, you got Burrow, then you got to buy to, think about, how that transpires. Like, those could be 2 L's. You could split it. Those could be 2 dubs. We know how talented Deshaun is. And then we got, those are going to be great games. Yeah, as soon as he comes back, he's going up against Lamar in Baltimore. Oh man,
what a game!
If you got NFL Plus, make sure.
I just got my Sunday ticket renewal email.
I want to say I don't need no NFL Plus. Just give me Sunday ticket or Red Zone. I'm chilling.
Bro, Sunday ticket, student discount, $100, bro.
Clutch.
No kidding.
Lit.
And then he goes.
I got to find that discount to use then.
Hey man, try to do what you can. Then you got the Dolphins, who have talented guys on the outside. We'll see what Tua is by week 10, and then you got Josh Allen and then Brady. So how do you see those games? We could go with everybody now. Get everybody in here. Connie, what's your thoughts on looking at the schedule right here? After
I got 4-2 off the jump.
Right.
I think those first 4 are all wins. I think the toughest game is the Steelers, just because it's in division, so they obviously know each other very well. I just don't have faith in Mr. Trubisky to be an actual NFL quarterback. So I got 4-2 there. I think they lose Chargers, Pats, Ravens. That's probably an L. You said White is home?
Yeah.
Damn, I don't even know why I asked that, because I still think it's an L. Because you look, they play Sunday, and then they got to play Monday as well. Actually, no, that's an extra day. I lied. Damn, I still think that's an L, bro. Bengals, I think they fixed their offensive line. Oh gosh, I just had a stroke. But yeah, I think that might be an L too. Then you go into the bye. So what? You're probably sitting at if you're using my logic 4-4 right now. You probably come out and win against the Dolphins. I think the next 2 are L's. You beat the Texans. I think you split with the Bengals. You probably split with the Ravens, I want to say. I think you beat the Saints, beat Commanders and Steelers. So what are we looking at?
Almost like 9-10 wins right there.
Yeah, I see it. I got 10-7.
9-7. I mean, 10-7, everything goes right. You're looking at an 11-12 win team. If they can sneak out a win, maybe they shock the Ravens when Deshaun comes back, because it's just totally different than playing Jacoby Brissett, who they've been preparing for. Maybe that extra day helps you against the Bengals, and you can somehow beat them, or you get the Bucs at home and you can somehow surprise them. That's later in the year. You never know about injuries. And listen, we can sit here and predict things all we want. Week 1, if they're playing the Panthers, Nick Chubb gets hurt, and then on the next play, Amari Cooper gets hurt too, and then by the time Deshaun Watson comes back week 7, he's throwing to me and you. Well, might look like a different little season, but
like the Texans again.
Yeah, exactly. So at the moment, I could see 10, but I mean, that's what we're doing. We're predicting in the moment, and we'll see what happens when the actual season plays out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 1,000%. I'm looking at the Browns' schedule as well. I definitely see 3-3 in the first 6 games. I feel like it depends. I feel like it depends on who the Panthers start week 1. I feel like they should start Baker Mayfield just because. I mean, Baker Mayfield with some Browns. But if Sam Darnold's at the helm, I'm sorry, Panthers ain't got no chance. The only reason why guys like Quando and me want to see the Panthers win week 1 is if Baker Mayfield is starting. If Baker Mayfield wins a starter job and he's the starter week 1, I think the Panthers are going to get the win. But if Baker doesn't win the job and it's Sam Darnold, I'm sorry, they're not going to win. And also the storyline won't be as fun. It'll be miserable. People would ask for their refunds going to that game if Baker Mayfield ain't the starter. But I think he'll be the starter. I think he has to be. I think the Browns lose that game. But then from there, 3 straight wins against the Jets, Steelers, Falcons. And then I think they'll get dog walked by the Chargers, just thrown around, all kinds of stuff. And then against the Patriots, I think the Patriots are going to put the smackdown. The Pats put the smackdown on the Browns last year. What was it, 45-6? When it was up in Foxborough last year, wasn't it 45-6 or 52 to something?
No, that was a Jets game. It was close. It was like 35-17. It was something like that. Yeah, it was definitely a big one.
It was a beatdown. It was a beatdown. So the Browns should be looking at 3-3 now. If they're worse than 3-3, if they're 2-4, 1-5, something bad is going on in Cleveland, or an injury had to have happened for them to be 2-4, 1-5. But then afterwards, you look at it, definitely going to be an L at Baltimore. They're going to get dog walked by the Ravens. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care if Massage Boy comes back week 7. They're going to get dog walked at Baltimore. Deshaun Watson is going to get booed down to the high heavens. It's going to be interesting to see. I think Deshaun Watson struggles the first game. Home against the Bengals. I might go as far as say I think they're going to win the home game against the Bengals. I think they split. I think they split against the Bengals, so that puts them at 5 wins. And then the bye week, I think they beat the Dolphins at 6 wins. They lose to the Bills, lose to the Bucks, beat the Texans at 7. And then I feel like home against the Ravens, I think they win at home against the Ravens. I think they split against the Ravens. That's 8. I think they'll beat the Commanders as 9. I think they beat the Saints as 10, and I think they'll lose to the Steelers at 9. So I could see 10 wins from Cleveland. Just from like that standpoint. Now, will it be enough to make the playoffs? To be determined when we see how other teams look. But I mean, I think Cleveland 10 wins. I think that's the expectation. If they fail to live that expectation of 10 wins, boy, it's going to be a disaster. You know, not only for Cleveland, but talk about like the haymakers I'll be thrown in the media, all that stuff. Yeah, it's going to be crazy. Like the Browns are one of those teams to where they better make the playoffs. And even also for Kevin Stefanski's sake, if Kevin Stefanski misses the playoffs, he might be on the hot seat the following year. Like this upcoming offseason, he might be on the hot seat. So we'll see what happens. But overall preview for the Browns, have to have 10 wins, bare minimum. At worst, if all things go wrong, 7.
Yeah, for me, for Cleveland this year, definitely you want to get Nick Chubb healthy. You want to get Kareem Hunt. That's their offense, really. Even though Deshaun is an extremely talented quarterback, that's what Stefanski wants to do. They want to run the football. They want to run the football, play defense, control the clock. Just like, I mean, that's just AFC North football in general. That's the identity of that entire division. And they have 2 of the best backs to do that. And then Deshaun coming in, you know, we're not even factoring in his ability to run the football. So, you know, you could have definitely some dynamic plays, some RPOs where he's, you know, keeping the football. You have to worry about either Chubb or Deshaun on that type of play. One thing that I want to see and I'm looking at is the wide receivers. You know, I know Amari Cooper's there. They don't really have a true number 2 guy. Donovan Peoples-Jones is solid. Maybe he could step up and be that number 2. But I want to see what receivers step up there. I know in Njoku, I'm looking forward to him having a much better season, a much better career going forward. He's been extremely talented. The talent is there. He's made a lot of splash plays since coming out of Miami, but he just hasn't been able to put it all together for a whole entire season. So maybe with a really good quarterback like Deshaun, for the majority of the season, he could be able to do that. So yeah, these first games, I agree with you guys. 3-3, 4, and it should be 3-3 at worst. I think if they come out 500, I think they'll be very happy with that. And again, the rest of the schedule is brutal, and I think that you probably would want that. They got a really good beginning of the schedule. They got the perfect schedule for him to be out, because the rest you're going to need an elite quarterback to get you in those games. And
bro, if Deshaun's playing from week 1, they could have went 6-0.
No doubt, no question about it. And that's what I'm saying. If they could go 500, I think that'd be perfect. Because then it puts them in a good spot. We already know how good we'll see how good the Ravens are by week 7. The Bengals, we know what they are at this point. You know, the dynamic offense and pretty good defense that they have. So those are going to be tough games. Those are going to be their toughest games. And then you got Josh Allen, and you got Tom, but you got Tom at home. So and it's a 1:00 game, so it should be a friendlier type game. Going to Buffalo, again, that's why you need a guy like Deshaun. You need a guy that's going to put you in a predicament to win. So it's a good thing that he's going to be there, because if he's not there, that's definitely a blowout. So yeah, I see 9-8 again, but just I can see 9-8, 10-7, something like that. Because they want to run the football, play defense. We haven't really talked about the defense. Denzel Ward, Grant Delpit, Greedy Williams, Myles Garrett. They brought back Jadeveon Clowney. Linebacker core, there's going to be some new guys. They got rid of Mac Wilson. So there's going to be some new guys up front for that linebacker core. I want to see who steps up and becomes that guy in the middle of that defense. But the defense is still, really good. Like Myles Garrett, Defensive Player of the Year candidate, is going to be that for the rest of his career. So they have an opportunity to still have a really good season despite Deshaun missing a quarter of the year, a third of the year. Any final thoughts on the Browns?
No, sir.
No, let's just hope Deshaun doesn't get in any more sticky situations in Cleveland.
That's a fact. We don't want to see that. All right, let's go into Pittsburgh Steelers. So yeah, this is the era of
hold on, not football related.
Yeah,
but I have to break some terrible news right now.
What happened?
What happened?
Bro, Vince Scully died.
Oh man, that's
no.
R.I.P. R.I.P. Vince Scully.
Damn.
Legendary.
They really do come in threes, bro. Bill Russell, Vince Scully. Yo, somebody watch out for somebody else. Damn, that just killed my whole vibe.
Tough, man. R.I.P. Vince Scully, man. Legend.
Damn. One of the GOATs for sure. Probably the GOAT of broadcasting MLB for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Damn.
Definitely.
Sorry. Had to say.
No, you're good. You're good. Definitely pay your respects to a legend. Pittsburgh Steelers. This is the post-Big Ben era. This is what we've kind of been expecting over the last couple of years, just because Roethlisberger hasn't really played at the highest level over the last few years. So if this time was definitely coming, and here we are. They drafted Kenny Pickett with the 20th pick overall. They brought in Trubisky. They still have Mason Rudolph there at quarterback. That's their quarterback room. Najee Harris had a really solid rookie year for them. Quan, man, what's your thoughts on the Pittsburgh Steelers? Go Quan, Connie, and then we're gonna go with Matt. What's your thoughts on Pittsburgh and how do you see them playing? I mean, they're really looking like the last place team in this division.
Yeah, that's what they're really looking like this year. Not expecting too much from them. I know Mitch Trubisky is the quarterback. But who's my boy? That's the running back.
Najee Harris.
Yeah, Najee Harris. That's my guy. I do hope that he has a great season. Najee Harris is real deal. But I don't really see them doing too much. Maybe winning with Mitchell Trubisky, maybe winning 5 games.
5. Sheesh.
Maybe.
Well, we got the schedule up right here for you guys to take a look at. Yeah, I can see around 4 or 5.
All right.
Still got a good that defense. Still good, man. I mean, still got Fitzpatrick, J. Watt. You know, they still got some. They're gonna be in some games. It's just again they got mid under center. So
At best.
at best, facts.
They got a mid and they got small hands.
Yeah,
Who's small hands?
Kenny Pickett.
yeah.
They tried to lower him in the draft because he got small hands. So that was the whole saying, like they got small hands Pickett.
Yeah, and then you got the top 5 receiver too. Your boy Chase.
Oh, George, you got Demon Man George Pickens.
Chase
Dude, that dude on draft day was wild. You see the pose that he had, looking like NBA young boy out there.
Yeah, their receiving core could. I mean, if they get the right guy, if Pickett is that guy, that receiving core is pretty good. So it could be pretty good. You got Pickens, Claypool, Deontay Johnson.
You mean the same Claypool that motioned the first down with 30 seconds left and no timeouts?
Yeah, the IQ needs work.
That
same.
Right.
Yeah, definitely. His IQ is definitely not up there, but he, in terms of talent and making big plays, he's definitely that guy.
His IQ is not up there. It's just
It's not. I mean, it's just,
no. It's just a great statement.
His IQ is not that guy.
His IQ is not up there.
hey, put that on a T-shirt, Connie. Make that a T-shirt. His IQ is not up there. Hard count.
That's what it is, man.
If you guys have a TikTok account, you should add this voice clip
That's the
in there.
one, bro.
That's what I'm gonna start. Chase Claypool's IQ, not up there.
It's not.
No numbers. No numbers have to be said. Just not up there.
So Quan, you're saying 5 games? 5 and 12?
5 and 12.
Still City, still Curtin?
Still Curd 5-12.
Let's see. Let's see. That's 3 L's to start the season.
Facts.
You beat the Jets. Everybody beats the Jets. You lose to the Bills. You lose to the Bucks. Is that Dolphin game away? Is that what that means? Is White away, CJ?
White is away.
White is away, yeah.
Okay, White is away. Damn, I think they might lose to the Dolphins too. Damn, they might lose to the Eagles too.
No, they're gonna lose to the Eagles.
Damn, so I got 1 win in the first 8 weeks, huh? I can see them beating the Saints at home.
Yeah, Eagles is 50-50, bro. I don't know what we're gonna get from Hurts, bro. Listen, he
defended Hurts for too long to not have him go off this year.
I mean, listen, I'm with you. I'm rooting for his success, but I don't know. From what I've seen sometimes.
All right, fine. How about this, CJ? I'll make you happy.
Dolphins too, bro. I don't know what we're gonna get from Tua. Like,
I mean, well, listen, this is my list.
They still got a good defense. No, I'm just playing devil's advocate. That's it.
I'm not gonna let CJ bully me into this like he always does.
I'm making you think.
No, I know about their defense. Don't worry. But I also know about that piece of trash they got behind, center.
Piece of mid.
No, literally. I mean, it's just ridiculous. I'll give them. So then I give them a win against the Saints. We're up to 2 wins. They're losing to the Bengals. They're losing to the Colts. They'll beat the Falcons. They'll lose to the Ravens. They'll beat the Panthers. I think they'll beat the Panthers. It'll be definitely. It'll definitely be Baker by then.
Connie, what would you do to Josh if the Panthers don't beat the Steelers Week 15?
Listen, I won't. I don't really care. I mean, that's Josh's problem, not mine. They'll lose to the Raiders.
What would you do if the would you have to give Alex a stimulus check if the Steelers beat the Patriots?
Absolutely not. Alex has owed me for 2 years by now. I think they get swept by the Ravens.
Let's check.
So, yeah, I mean, listen, I thought that 4 or 5 wins was a little disrespectful when Quan said that. I look at the schedule now. You might be right. You might be onto something there, guy.
Yeah, man. How do you see this? How do you see this season playing out for Steel Curtain, man?
How I feel this season playing out for the Steel Curtain, I think you got to bank for the first below 500 season in Mike Tomlin's 16-year tenure. I mean, you got. I like to call him Trubisky. I mean, I saw this man firsthand with the Bears, and it was quite a disaster. I mean, I don't know why the Steelers think that he's like a savior or something, but he ain't it. He's not that guy, pal. I mean, Chase Claypool's IQ may not be up there, but, I mean, Mitchell Trubisky's skill is not up there at all in general. The only reason why he got high praise was because he was a backup quarterback for the Buffalo Bills, and his offensive coordinator was Brian Daboll. That's the only praise that you get from Trubisky. Other than that, what more does he do? Gives you nothing. He's just mid. And they're gonna get mollywopped by the Bengals. They're gonna get mollywopped by the Pats. Mollywopped by the Browns. That's 0-3. I mean, I know Zach Wilson got that dog in him in the Jets, but I won't stoop that low. I won't stoop losing to the Jets though. So that's 1-3 right there. They're gonna get killed by the Bills. They're going to lose to the Bucks. I'll give them the edge over the Dolphins. That's 2. I'll give them the edge over the Eagles. That's 3. I think they'll be 3-5 by the bye week. I think they'll beat the Saints, so they'll be 4-5. I think they'll lose to the Bengals. That's 4-6. But knowing the Steelers, they love to tease their fans with false hope. So they'll beat the Colts to go 5-6. They'll then beat the Falcons to go 6-6. So it'll be 6-6 through 13 weeks. And then they'll lose to the Ravens, they're 6-7. They'll beat the Panthers, they're 7-7. And then they'll lose the next 3 straight. They'll lose to the Raiders, they'll be 7-8. They'll lose to the Ravens, they'll be 7-9 to be below 500. And then they'll lose to the Browns and go 7-10. So they're going to be below 500, 6-7 wins. I think that's the expectation. I would not be shocked to see Kenny Pickett at all. The only way how I would see Kenny Pickett even get any action for his small-ass hands would be when the Steelers are out of the playoffs. That's about it. And that's when Kenny Pickett starts for the Pittsburgh Steelers, that's when you got to hope he does well, because you're putting all your eggs into that Kenny Pickett basket. Because if we're being honest, you're not going to be bad enough to get a top pick to get a CJ Stroud or a Bryce Young this upcoming draft. You're going to be right in the middle. You're going to be in like those 12, 13 pick kind of field right there. So you got to hope and pray that in the short sample size that Kenny Pickett has, whether it's this preseason or late in the season, that he looks good. Because if he doesn't look good, then that's a problem.
Yeah, I agree. I think we're going to see. I really hope, selfishly, because I want to see great football. I hope Pickett's really good, because then we're going to be able to see, four young.
One thing I will say, if Kenny Pickett is good in training camp, he should be the starter week 1. If Kenny Pickett shows that he's that guy during training camp and during the preseason, why not start in week 1? You got nothing else to lose, because if we're being quite honest here, you're not competing for anything in the AFC. You're not going to go anywhere. The AFC is too good. They're too good right now. So if Kenny Pickett is better than mid Trubisky, that's going to be the new thing for Mitchell Trubisky right now. Is mid Trubisky. Then why not go ahead and start him? That the only way how I see Kenny Pickett starting is if either the Steelers are out of it, or if he somehow, some way beats Mitch Trubisky.
Yeah, I think they're hoping that he does become that guy. We'll see in training camp. I haven't really been looking at the Steelers too much in terms of what's been going on with them in training camp and how that quarterback battle might be going down. But yeah, like I said, it'd be great for that division. 4 young quarterbacks playing at a pretty high level. It'll make that division just as exciting as the AFC West. So, but realistically, as it stands today, I just don't see it. I think 5-12, 4-13. That 4 to 6 win range, because again, they do have a defense, and the defense could keep them in some games. And listen, and I don't believe in Trubisky at all, but he has gotten to the playoffs with in a situation where everything else was really good around him. And I think maybe that's what the Steelers are banking on. They're banking on Najee having a big year. They're banking on that defense continuing to play at a high level like they have. I think that the cornerback situation over there in Pittsburgh, definitely I'm interested to see how that plays out. If they could get a true number 1 guy on that side, because that division, you got Chase, Boyd, and Higgins, and that's just on one team. Then you got Amari Cooper, and then we'll see where Rashad Bateman could be in Baltimore. So they're definitely going to need a shutdown guy over there in Pittsburgh. And again, I like that wide receiver core. I think that wide receiver core could be really good. It could be really good if Claypool, again, he's still a young guy, but he's still extremely talented. And if he could have a really again,
if his IQ can be higher up there.
Yeah, just IQ, but then also just staying consistent too in certain games. It's just from the IQ standpoint, but then also just from like throughout the game. Like he'll fade sometimes and he'll make a big play, and then you won't see him for the rest of the game. So, and Deontay Johnson has been that guy to really be steady throughout the year. He's really good. He's going to get paid fairly soon. So, and Pickett has been making one-handed catches, mossing guys in training camp. So. Like I said, I see 4 to 6 wins for the Steelers, and this will be Mike Tomlin's first season without a record having 500 or better.
Absolutely, we'll see what happens there. I do want to say shout out Man to Man Podcast for commenting in our comment section, and hey, whenever we get to the Tennessee Titans, you're more than welcome to throw in your info. I know you boys are from Nashville and stuff, so definitely be good to hear you guys' takes.
Yes, sir, man. Appreciate you stopping by, Man to Man Podcast, bro. YT Washington, man. Appreciate you, brother. All right, yeah, let's go into the Baltimore Ravens. One of Quan's.
You know what you were about to say, Baltimore Orioles.
Nah.
Oh,
nah, no need.
I didn't Orioles.
You guys heard it too, right? Yours here is like Baltimore or Ravens.
I'll be real. It might be our podcast. The Loki was not paying attention. I'm not gonna lie. I knew what was coming next. I got nothing but faith in my guy CJ. So
yeah, both Baltimore Ravens. They were 8-3 before Lamar got hurt. Looked like they were going to go to the playoffs, even though Lamar was pretty much having a mid-level type quarterback year, stat-wise, outside of running, of course. But they had the most this guy. They had the most injuries of any team all year last year. They lost Gus Edwards, they lost Jimmy Smith, Marcus Peters, Marlon Humphrey, J.K. Dobbins. I mean, I could go on and on.
It was everybody and their grandmother, honestly.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, everybody. And then they ended up ultimately losing Lamar Jackson for for a few games when they needed to. So these guys are coming back. Should be healthy. Should be ready to go. Lamar reportedly has put on 25 pounds of muscle. It's been that picture has been circulating around the NFL, news circus. So, I mean, I'll start with Connie here. Obviously, the Lamar, the Lamar critic.
You got to make me the bad guy, huh?
I mean, it's going to speak for itself as soon as you dive in. So, so yeah, what's your thoughts on?
We got their schedule somewhere.
Oh yeah, I'm popping it up right now.
Okay,
Just as you're talking. Yeah. What's your thoughts on the Ravens? They went 8-9 last year. Obviously, we know. Again, Lamar wasn't healthy.
Yeah, I mean, listen, they were obviously going to make the playoffs if Lamar stayed healthy. Now, listen, I don't consider myself a Lamar hater. I consider myself just not in love head over heels like a lot of other people are.
No, I said critic though.
All right. I guess that's fair.
Not hater, yeah, not hater.
Well, listen, critic, hater, potato, almost in some people's eyes. Some people. So, no, I think, I mean, they were probably going to end up winning 12, 13 games last year if Lamar stays healthy. Honestly, they probably should have won. They probably should have won more games last year, even without Lamar. I mean, I can remember they went for 2 that one time. When they were only down by 1, should have just kicked the extra point.
Oh, they did that like 2 times. They did it against the Steelers and they did it against Green Bay.
They do that twice. So they'll probably end up making the playoffs. CJ's pulling up the schedule right here. I can take a look at this. All right, listen. First 3 weeks wins. Now I hate that they're going to beat us, but listen, I'm sorry. I think Bill does not do well against running quarterbacks. Just look at, I think he's 0-3 against Cam and hasn't beaten Lamar yet. And
yes, we have 1-1. Remember that rainy game in Foxborough? And this game is in Foxborough. But now go ahead.
Yeah, you do. I do remember that.
He's ready for it.
I had the stats ready. I already knew what you was going to say.
Look at CJ coming in.
Listen, I'm sorry. 0-3, but with the caveat of CJ, you know this. I'm praying I'm wrong.
Oh, you mean 3-0, right? 3-0. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, 3-0. Sorry. 3-0. Listen, you're not beating Josh Allen. You're not beating that dog. That MVP candidate Josh Allen and that defense now. That's their first L. Is that Bengal game away?
It's home.
Oh, yeah.
White is home.
White is home. Okay, there we go.
That's right.
Oh, they get the Bills at home? Still think it's a no. I lied. Damn, why they got so many home games? No. Never mind.
Yeah.
I forgot that the Patriot game was away. Let's see. I'm still going 3-0, 3-1. They win the home game against the Bengals. Everybody's going to beat the Giants. I mean, what are we talking about here?
Quando, you going to take that?
First game with Deshaun back. I think they win. You get an away game at the Bucs on a Thursday night. Listen, I'm sorry. That's an L. Saints, I'm giving you a win. Going to the bye week. You come out of the bye week against the Panthers. Listen, you don't even need a bye week for the Panthers. That's a win. You beat the Jags, easy money. Home against the Broncos, I'm going to give them a win, especially after today. I don't know if you guys saw Tim Patrick missing the whole entire year with the torn ACL. So there goes one of their wide receivers. Steelers away, don't care. That's a win. Home against the Browns. Listen, Deshaun's been playing for a little bit at this point.
No, that's an away game.
Okay, sorry. It's a little tiny.
The gold up top. Yeah,
that's my bad. It's a little tiny for the kid. So, Deshaun.
Real fast.
Yeah, I'll give him an L. Yeah, there we go. Okay, see, this is what I need.
Look at that.
There we go.
I'll give him an L. Deshaun's been there for a while. Everybody's going to beat the Falcons. I think you sweep the Steelers, and then away for the final game of the season. Maybe you got locked. Maybe you've locked things up. Maybe you haven't. I don't know. I think I'm going to go L though. I think I'm going to go L. So that's a pretty solid season. They're going to make the playoffs. I don't know if they win the division. I didn't keep track of the wins because I'm probably going to change things up when I go to the Bengals schedule because I can never remember this anyway. But they're either first in the division, they're either win the division or they're going to be second. So, pretty easy. I think they're making the playoffs either way.
So you got three. So I'm just assuming here you're gonna have three teams in the AFC North win 10 games because you had the Browns going 10-7.
I don't think they make the playoffs. Listen. In my head, I have three teams from the AFC West making the playoffs. Probably the Bills, then the Colts, and then another team from the North.
Okay.
That would be my guess.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, Quan, man, it's been a team you've been following for a long time. Lamar, it's a big year for Lamar. Still hasn't got the contract yet. I think he'll get it soon before they really get started and playing football. But how do you see him playing this year? Rashad Bateman's going to be that guy, looking to be wide receiver 1. Hollywood Brown is no longer there. They still got Mark Andrews, one of the best tight ends in the league. Well, what are your thoughts on the Baltimore Ravens for the 2022 season?
Playoff aspirations for sure. I feel like Lamar is. I feel like he's gonna have one of those seasons, like MVP caliber seasons. Finally healthy, completely changed his body and ready to go to war. It's kind of weird too, the dynamic that they always throw around at the fact that he can't throw. I don't know how the hell you win NFL MVP and you can't throw. Maybe he doesn't throw as much or the way people want him to, but
do we got another Lamar hater? CJ, I think you got two Lamar haters to worry about.
No, he's saying like he doesn't understand how people could hate on Lamar and by saying that he can't throw and he won MVP. That's what he's saying. He's not a hater.
I'm really not a hater. That's my boy. No, it's just like
yeah, my fault. I don't know what I was on thinking that, but
no, it's crazy, bro. It's just crazy how much shit they talk about Lamar Jackson. It's crazy. Like,
at me next time, huh? No, I'm kidding.
Well, I didn't know what you said about him.
Nah, I'm a critic. As CJ said, no hater.
That's fine. Everybody, like,
the reason why.
Listen, I'll be real. I think if people didn't fight me on Josh Allen being better than Lamar, I would have never disliked Lamar as much as I do.
No. You want to know? You want to know why Connie doesn't like running quarterbacks? It's because he had to sit with Cam Newton for a whole season. That's probably why he don't like no running quarterbacks.
Josh Allen's a running quarterback, bro.
Well, besides Josh Allen, that's the exception.
Oh, okay.
Everybody tried to shove Lamar better than Josh down my throat, so immediately made me dislike Lamar.
I don't know why. I mean, like I like the comparison though. It's a good comparison.
Actually, I don't even dislike Lamar. Like I said, I don't.
No.
I know this is off topic, but in our comment section, we got the Man podcast. They're predicting the Tennessee Titans for us. If you want to pull that up on the screen.
Yeah.
AJ, Taylor Burks, big shoes to fill. Other losses were Julio, Roger, Saffold. Blah, blah. I keep forgetting that Robert Woods went there.
Mm-hmm.
Keep forgetting Robert Woods went there. Austin Hooper, offensive line struggle to keep Tanny clean. Defense struggle a little bit. Malik Willis will be a starter next season. If Tanny can't get us deep into the playoffs, still got Titty Boys going. Huh? Okay, interesting development.
Boys.
Over 9 wins.
Over 9 wins?
Whoa.
Yeah.
I still got the Colts win that division easy, by the way.
I think it's just going to be interesting for you guys because, again, no Julio. Like you said, just talked about Treylon Burks. He made some
Julio was barely there anyway. He played like 6 games.
He got a touchdown.
Yeah, no Julio. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no Julio, no AJ Brown. Obviously, AJ Brown's the wide receiver one there. Big shoes to fill, like you talked about. That's going to be the thing because as you know, they're going to load up the box, try to stop 22. So those guys on the outside are going to have to step up. And but with that having to load up the box, it gives some easier one-on-ones for those guys. So maybe they could step up. I like Burks. I like them out of Arkansas. I thought he was really good. And Tannehill is just to me, he's just not good enough to be that guy. You guys had the number 1 seed last year, and just that game against Cincinnati definitely should have played better. So coaching is elite for sure. I obviously take Vrabel over Frank Reich. Yeah, any day of the week. So that division is going to be close. It's going to be close. It's going to be very close. I still like the Colts just because I think they have a better quarterback, but I think it's going to be very close division in the AFC South for sure. Obviously, you're going with your guys, which that's completely understandable. But yeah, go ahead, Connie. Go ahead, Quan, about Lamar. Any last thoughts on the Ravens? How do you set playoffs? You set automatic playoffs, right?
Automatic playoffs in them. Automatic playoffs in them. I feel like he gotta come back crazy. I think he'll get it done. I feel like they'll win. They can win 10, 11 games.
Okay.
10, 11 games.
All right.
I think that's what I had. So.
Yeah, I'm looking at the Baltimore Ravens. I feel like the Baltimore Ravens are in a situation to where I think they'll make the playoffs as long as they stay healthy. I mean, just like what CJ mentioned last year, they were 8-3 and they didn't have guys like J.K. Dobbins, Gus Edwards. They didn't have Marcus Peters. They had the straw that broke the camel's back for the Ravens last year was Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, I had him at 13 wins actually. Shit, I just did the math.
Once Lamar went down, then the whole ship kind of sank for the Ravens because you look at they lost 6 straight. I think if you look back at it, I think 4 of those losses were by like a possession. So you think if Lamar's in there and they either go 2-2 or 3-1, they're in the playoffs. So I think Lamar's going to stay healthy just because also for the simple fact that you guys mentioned earlier, he's not under contract yet. He still has 1 more year left and he hasn't inked an extension yet. So he has to stay healthy to max out on those big dollars. And looking at the schedule, I feel like they start off pretty well. I wouldn't be shocked if through the first 4 games are 3-1. Maybe their only loss is to Buffalo, and then you look at from there on out. I mean, I mentioned this earlier. I think they split with the Bengals. I think they lose at Cincy, but win at home against the Ravens. Sorry, Quando. I think the Ravens are going to dog walk the Giants. They're going to take the roof off at the MetLife, whether it's a home game or a road game. Wherever they are, they're going to beat the Giants. I'm sorry. And who knows? And you better pray that Saquon's healthy by week 6 because knowing his track record, you could be in the IR list. And then with the Browns, I think with the Browns, I think. Did I say the Browns were going to beat the Ravens when I predicted the Browns, or did I say they were going to split?
Yeah, you said it was a split.
Split. All right, so then split with the Browns. This I might classify it as an upset win, but I think the Ravens are going to upset the Bucs. I don't know how. I don't know how they will, but I think an upset's going to happen. It always does. I think they'll beat the Saints, beat the Panthers, beat the Jaguars. I know Russell Wilson said Broncos country, let's ride, but I think it's Broncos country, let's die in week 13 because the Ravens are gonna peck at the Bronco. I think they'll beat. Did I say that the Ravens were going to sweep the Steelers or split against the Steelers?
So sweet.
All right, so then they'll sweep the Steelers, split with the Browns, beat the Falcons. I can see the Ravens winning the division. I could see them going, 11 to 13 wins. I feel like that's going to be that. I feel like the Ravens are going to be back to the AFC dominance that we saw when they were in 2020. Like I think they're going to be right back in the mix. And then going based off of the Tennessee Titans, I think the Titans are going to be based off of, in my honest opinion, 3 things: King Henry, Mike Vrabel, Taylor Lewan. As long as those players stay healthy and they do well, maybe Tennessee can do well. But I mean, it's gonna go down, in my honest opinion, whoever wins the AFC South is gonna go down to who wins the season series between the Colts and the Titans. I think whoever wins those 2 games has a very good chance to win the division because both teams are almost even keel in a way, almost. I mean, I know the Colts had a lot of Pro Bowls last year, but then again, they wet the bed badly. But I mean, with Tennessee, they got a dog in Mike Vrabel. I mean, he is that guy. Like, he is that coach. He is legit. I know they had a 1 seed last year and they faltered a little bit, but I mean, when you run into Joe Shiesty and Tannehill decides to throw 3 interceptions in the worst opportunity moment, that's what happens. But Tennessee could bounce back. They could win the division. Who knows? Maybe Tennessee could be one of those sleeper teams that sneaks in. Maybe they could be like in a 2019 to where they sneak in as a 6th seed and then they go on a run. Who knows what happens there? But that's personally what I think about Tennessee Titans. And for the Ravens, I think they got a good chance to win the division. And also in the comment, what do I think about Zach Wilson smashing those little bitty Cougars? I mean, hey, man's got a type. I mean, man's looking for experience, not only on the field, but off the field, my friend.
Yeah, that he is. Baltimore, if Lamar could play how he played against the Colts in that Monday Night Football game, I feel like the criticisms would definitely diminish. He's just not consistent at times in the pocket. We talked about this last. Not even just Connie. I don't want to just keep on harping on just Connie, but because he makes fair criticisms, and then there's other people that go extreme with it. But I think with all those guys coming back that I talked about at the start of the show, started talking about this team when we first started previewing them. They're just going to be a better team. They got one of the best coaches in the NFL, and John Harbaugh. Just for less guys covered. I rap sports. Appreciate you, man. Hey, appreciate that. Appreciate that. Exactly. Like and subscribe, guys. John Harbaugh is the head coach, one of the best head coaches in the NFL. So when it comes to situational football, they're always going to be in an advantage with some of those top-tier upper echelon teams. Yeah, and Lamar putting on the muscle, putting on 25 pounds of muscle, I think it's good. It's good. You want to be able to last throughout the season. He'll probably lose some of that as the season goes on because obviously he's running around and doing all that stuff. So he'll probably get to around maybe 220, 218, something like that. But the way he's able to run the football and take some shots, you got to have some muscle to you because those guys are going to try to get you out the game. They're going to try to hit you, and they want to make sure that you don't come back in the game because that gives them the best chance to win when you're on the sideline. So I think that's good for him. Will he lose some speed? I'm not sure. It's really tough to say. I don't think so. I think he has generational talent. And I think it's just going to help him. It's going to help him become a stronger player. It does from a running standpoint. I'm not worried about Lamar. I'm more focused on what he does in the pocket, reading defenses at a high level, just being consistent. Because again, we see games where I remember the Ram game during his MVP year. He went crazy. He had 5 touchdowns. The Colts Monday night game, like I talked about last year, he has games where he's excellent in the pocket. It's just not consistent all the time. So. Hopefully he hones in on those things and those small little details this year. Rashad Bateman, some of the other receivers that they picked up and that they acquired via the draft. Duvernay is still there as well. Maybe he gets a bigger role this year. So that receiver core is definitely what I'm looking at for them. And that's always been my concern with them is that, I've been saying this plenty of times on the show is all the other young quarterbacks in the AFC and the NFL have elite guys on the outside that those guys could trust and get the ball to. Yes, he has Andrews, but you need an X or Y receiver on the outside to make those plays to move down the field. You can't just have an elite tight end. You need more than that. So who's going to be that guy? I hope it's Bateman. Got him in a fantasy league. So that'd be great. Bateman to the moon. Exactly. I agree.
Well, here we go. More to have a career year than shake his tail feather down to Miami.
Oh,
wow!
Fellow avid Dolphins fan.
This guy, Cal, man.
Much better weapons for him in Miami. Yeah, I mean it's
maybe Tua is going to be your guy. Come on, Cal, you giving up already? Season didn't even start.
You can't give up on Tua. Turn the ball over just yet.
I think the
Ravens. You my guy Tua yet. Did you not see that 65-yard bomb that he threw in the training camp to Tyreek Hill?
Yeah, the Ravens aren't crazy. They're gonna definitely extend him. There's no way he's gonna be a free agent. It's impossible that he becomes an unrestricted free agent. You just can't do that. So he's gonna be a Raven for the foreseeable future, no question. And yeah, when they're playing how they play, they want to run the football, play defense. They get a lot of those guys back. Patrick Queen, Calais Campbell still there up front. I think they just signed their rookie Ojabo just recently. I think today, earlier on today. So Marlon Humphrey should be healthy. I believe they picked up Marcus Williams from the Saints and the safety veteran guy. So I think they're going to be good. I definitely see 10 to 12 wins if they're rolling, just because of how they play, and it's tough to stop Lamar. And I'm also expecting J.K. Dobbins to be that breakout player for them, because we thought he was going to be that last year, but ultimately got hurt. And I think he's going to have a big year for the Baltimore Ravens. All right, last team before we get out of here, Cincinnati Bengals, the AFC North reigning defending champions.
And of the entire AFC.
And of the entire AFC, exactly. What's your thoughts?
I do also want to throw a starter up for one of my biggest fantasy sleepers. Don't sleep on that Lizard King, Alan Lazard.
Oh, this guy.
Yeah.
What? He's going to be
CJ,
wanting
can you
to one in Green
believe that
Bay.
he just said a Packer is going to be a sleeper in fantasy?
Hey, he said sleeper. He doesn't have to be the best. It's just a sleeper that
I
no
just
one's
can't believe it was a
about.
Packer. I've never been this shocked in my life before.
Fuck off.
Can you hear the shock in my voice right now?
I really hope hope he's that guy for you guys, man. We'll talk about the NFC North very shortly in the next few weeks or so. But yeah, Cincinnati Bengals.
No, I might have to wear the cheese head if you guys talk about the NFC North. I might have to.
Hey man, for sure. Just do your thing, man. So former champs, current AFC champs, AFC North champs. Joe Burrow, first year, second year fully healthy. They drafted Jamar Chase. Should have been Chase, should have been Penei Sewell. They went with Chase. They went with the guy that he had threw 19 touchdowns to at LSU en route to their national championship back in 2019. Higgins, Boyd, Uzama is now a New York Jet. I believe I'm blanking on who they brought in. They brought in a new tight end. It's pretty solid. I'm blanking out. Maybe get that later on for you guys. But Joe Burrow had an excellent year, 4,800 yards, 35-plus touchdowns, played like an MVP candidate definitely towards the end of the season. And they had a phenomenal playoff run. They beat the number one seeded Tennessee Titans. They beat the Raiders before that in the wild card game. And then they shocked everybody by beating the Kansas City Chiefs at Arrowhead in the AFC Conference Championship game, being down to 21-3. So, and then they lost a close game to the Los Angeles Rams. Definitely went right down to the wire.
If they have an offensive lineman, Jamar Chase,
Jamar Chase burnt Ramsey to a crisp.
Burn him right to a crisp. And what do they do as soon as free agency hits? They understand. They bring in the O-line. They bring in Michael Collins. They bring in Ted Karras. They bring in a couple other guys to shore up. You got to protect your money, and the money is number 9 for sure. So what's your thought? I'll start with Connie, Matt, and then we go Quan to finish up for the Cincinnati Bengals. What's your thoughts on the Bengals this season? This is teamrankings.com for the viewers. Cool little website that I actually found over when trying to produce the show for today. Got to put up some nice stats. You kind of get to see everything and how the team played last year. I'm gonna pull up the schedule shortly as well. So yeah, how do you see Cincinnati playing for this season, being the season?
That's a playmaker difference right there. What CJ's doing for us.
I mean, I said it when we were talking about the Ravens. I think it's either the Bengals or the Ravens that are going to win the division. Now, I guess I just did the math that I think that the Ravens are going to win 13 games. So like, I don't. Listen, I'm going to have to sit down one day and like actually go through each schedule and then like actually
before the season starts, we're gonna make sure for the viewers and the listeners, we're gonna make sure we get a document. And last year we were kind of just winging it, saying win loss.
Connie's probably gonna go to NFLPlayoffPredictor.com, go each week by week basis, pick his team.
Hey, listen, last year I had a beautiful chart on Gen Z last year. So
we're gonna make sure for the hard we get stuff on.
I know. Sorry to interrupt. I know Connie and Josh have a pick competition on Gen Z. Will we see the same for the hard count?
Of
course, man. Yeah, again, this is the flagship NFL show right here on US 10, so it's only right. It's only right that we,
And listen, by the way, I've never lost on Gen Z. I don't plan on losing here either. I don't plan on losing.
You can take that.
I'm just saying.
You're gonna see, brother.
CJ will be great, probably better competition than Josh, because CJ won't pick the Patriots to win every week like Josh picks the Panthers to win every week.
Well, you got to ride or die with your team.
No.
That's what
I
you
like
gotta
to
do.
ride or die with W's.
Yeah, exactly.
I ride or die with winning. I'm a winner. So, all right, let's see this Bengals schedule. They come out 4 wins in a row. I do remember, now that I think about it, I remember them saying they were going to lose.
Pull up Logan's comment. He's just asking for us to lose money. Just look at this guy.
None of those teams stat matters. All that matters is gangrene, pulling the money in the bank, cash in the play. Yeah, money in the bank.
Hey, Zach's got that dog in him, but he's going to need a lot more Cougars to get that.
Like
to get that
WWE reference, though.
Jets are like plus 1,500. So, hey, man, put a couple dollars on it and, you know, hopefully you get lucky, brother. You know it's not happening, though, but, hey, you never know. But now,
they're going to split with the Ravens. I remember giving them an L when we were doing the Ravens one at this one. So they're starting off 4-1, 5-1. They beat the Saints. 6-1 beat the Falcons. I mean, I don't remember what I did with the Browns, but I'll give them 7-1, 8-1 against the Panthers. I mean, come on, Panthers. Bye week, you're beating the Steelers. You're going to beat the – Jesus Christ. Maybe I'm doing that. I feel like you beat the Titans. I think, though – oh, no, the Chief game is home?
Tennessee's on the road.
That doesn't matter. I'm not worried about Tennessee in the slightest. Not even a little bit. Damn. Listen, maybe I'll give them an L to the Chiefs at home. A little revenge game from last year. Then
maybe Jamar Chase doesn't drop 266 yards again.
Maybe they'll actually decide to play defense this time. I'll give them a win against the Browns again. I mean, listen, I have them sweeping the Browns technically if I do that, but hey, you know, I think because what week? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I mean, that's only 2 weeks. That first game for the Browns, that's 2 weeks after Deshaun comes back. I can see a win, but. I'll give them a split. So I'll say they lose the first Brown game, win the second Brown game. They're losing to the Bucs on the road. Listen, I love our boys, but I think they're beating us at home. And then they're going to lose to the Bills
on a Christmas.
And then they win
Eve,
against the Ravens
on a Christmas Eve too. That's
hey, listen, I think I just gave the Bengals like 13 or 14 wins too. So it's going to be a dogfight between them and the Ravens. I had the Ravens at 13 too.
Something's got to give.
Listen, they can both win 13 games.
We'll wait until it gets like the real predictions, and then we'll wait until it gets like the week before, like when it gets to September 4th, September 5th.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. I thought you had more to say. My bad. Yeah. Quan, what's your thoughts on this, man? My bad, Matt. What's your thoughts on the Bengals? This season. So
what my thoughts are the Bengals are the reigning undisputed AFC champs, led by the man, the myth, the legend, Joe Shiesty.
Shiesty.
Yeah, Joe Burr, Joe Cool, whatever you want to call it. I mean, he went off. He was smoking that Zaza to the fullest. And he did it well.
We got to stop this.
He was smoking that what? Yeah,
smoking that Zaza.
I'm crying.
Yeah, but anyways. Looking at the Bengals. I mean, I had the Ravens going about 11 to 13 wins. I feel like for the Bengals, I feel like it's the same thing. I mean, you look at the Bengals; they won 10 games last year, and they barely had any O-line. They were a 4 seed, and they made it to the Super Bowl. I feel like anything less than that would be a failure. But looking at it, I mean, I think they'll sweep the Steelers. I think they'll split the Ravens. I think they'll split the Browns. But from there on out, I mean, I think they're going to beat the Jets easily. I think they'll beat the Dolphins. I think they'll beat the Saints, the Falcons. Sorry, Josh, but you're going to get mollywopped by the Panthers are going to get killed by the Bengals. Now, what I will say is the Bengals have an interesting stretch towards the end of the season, from week 12 all the way down to week 18. A 7-game stretch where it's tough. It's going to be a tough 7-game stretch because, I mean, you got the Tennessee Titans on the road. Yeah, Cougar Hunter Wilson is going to body count Ice Cold Joe. We'll see. I mean,
Vic, that's a grade A comment, though.
Yeah, that is a grade A comment. I know Zach Wilson slays Cougars, but I mean, Joe Burrow's a Tiger King. So I mean, it's interesting. I don't know where I'm going with that, but we're just gonna scratch that.
No idea.
I hope it stops though.
Scratch that. Well, but anyways,
Yeah.
from the six game stretch of you got the Titans, Chiefs, Browns, Bucks, Patriots, Bills, Ravens. I think it's going to really determine to see how the Bengals are going to look like if they bounce back from their Super Bowl hangover. Because you've seen a lot of teams to where they make it to the Super Bowl and the next year they have a hangover. Look at the Carolina Panthers and the Denver Broncos. So it's one of those to where the Titans are going to have a calendar looked at November 27th. They want that to be the revenge game, especially with it being in Nashville. In Nashville, like, for sure that a lot of stuff is going to go down there. Chiefs, I think the Chiefs are going to look for revenge. But I think from there on out, would not be shocked if they get 12, 13 wins. But that pencil mark calendar game, I think it's going to be week 18 against the Ravens. It's at Paul Brown Stadium, at home for the Bengals. I think whoever wins that game is going to win the division. I truly believe it's going to be a close match for both the Bengals and the Ravens. I've stated it before, and I'll state it again. I think whoever wins between the Ravens and the Bengals, I think will win the division. I truly believe that's going to be how it goes, and I think overall it's going to be exciting to see how the Bengals bounce back from Super Bowl, because we see teams bounce back from the Super Bowl loss and they come back even stronger. Or if you're the Patriots with Brady, just go to the Super Bowl year in and year out like it's nothing. But we've also seen teams to where they make the Super Bowl once, example Giants, and then next thing you know, sink down to irrelevancy. But hey, at least you got the ring to fall back on.
Quando, did we get your thoughts? I don't know what happened to CJ, but did we get your thoughts?
I can definitely see the Bengals definitely going back to the playoffs for sure. I like their team going back into the season. I don't know. I don't remember what their record was. Do you guys remember what their record was last year?
Bengals last year were 10-7.
They were 10-7.
They can easily win 13, 14 games this year.
That's what I'm saying.
And they corrected that offensive line. Joey B got some protection now. More trust within the guys. I could see them going the distance again if they play their cards right and everybody stays healthy. You got Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Boyd, basically Joe Mixon. Like their defense,
they got a lot of dogs out there.
Yeah. The Bengals are a scary team. Every team in the league should be afraid.
What's crazy is they're young.
And they're young, yes. They're a young, great team, just like the Bills.
This is true.
It's like the Bills. I see the Bills and the Bengals going at it for a long time.
Bengals AFC Championship game?
The two Bs, bro. That'd be awesome. I would love to see that. The championship game, Bills and Bengals.
I wouldn't mind it. Listen, I don't know what happened to CJ, but that was our final topic of the day. It's been a very long episode as it is anyway. So, with that being said, I think we'll sign off here. Quando, why don't you tell everybody where they can find you? And then, Matt, you're next, and then we'll head out.
Yes, sir. You guys can find me down. My tag right there, young_Quando on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube also. I'm an artist. Thank you guys for having me always. It's always a pleasure having me on the Hard Count. Don't know what happened to CJ.
I don't know.
She was about to say that.
Oh no! I was gonna say I don't know. I don't know what happened to CJ either.
At least he made it for the whole show. Whatever happened, but yeah, definitely a pleasure being up here.
Pleasure as always, my guy. Pleasure as always.
Yeah, definitely a pleasure to be on here as well. And Connie, I need you to pull up Josh's comment. I know it's directly at Danny Amendola better than Jamar Chase. I think that's gonna be the new meme now, just because of how bad my take was.
Yeah, that was a terrible take. I can't lie.
I don't think Josh is going to let that go.
I don't think anybody should let it go.
No, I don't think so either. But
Any Amendola Hall of Fame.
I was tripping in the moment. All right, I was tripping in the moment. It happens. It happens to the best of us. The Zaza hit me too much. I didn't handle the Zaza well.
Brother.
I did not do well. But anyways, my Twitter handle is down below at Matt_Skura. Go check out the Twitter, Instagram at Matt_Skura21. And both of those links in the bio, you get access to my link tree, and that link tree assesses my sports podcast I made my great friend Caleb Conant do called MCS Real Sports Podcast. We talk all things NBA and NFL related, and you name it, it's available everywhere. Spotify, Anchor, iHeartRadio, you name it on any podcasting platforms, it is available. And as always, it is a pleasure to be on the Hard Count to talk all things football related. And hey, I can't wait for the future episodes.
As for me, you guys know what it is by now. Anthony Conover _ on Twitter for my thoughts on everything. Mondays I do the hard count. I don't do the hard count on Mondays. Monday I do generational sports with Josh over here in the comments. And like you said, use code Gen Z on Underdog Fantasy. Double your first deposit up to $100. We're live at 7 Eastern, talking a little bit about everything. Obviously, me and CJ do this every Tuesday, usually at 9. A little late today, a little technical difficulties. Talking everything in the football world. And then Thursdays, I do backstop banter with me and Michael. That is everything in the baseball world. Had a crazy trade deadline. Got a lot of things to go over when it comes to that. DeGrom made his return, so we got plenty of stuff to talk about Thursday on the hard count, or not the hard count, backstop banter. All three of those shows are available for podcasts on Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio. Like Matt said, anywhere you can listen to a podcast, you can listen to Generational Sports, the hard count, and backstop answer. But with all that being said, appreciate you boys being on the show. Appreciate everybody in the comments. And listen,
Anthony.
until next time, everybody.